Click subscribe to win this Dudek t-shirt. Extra large. Once we hit 1,500 subscribers, I'll send it out to one of the subscribers.
All right, guys, we are at this is the podcast I was not expecting to have. We are on season 5, episode 210, and today we're going to be talking about, well, something I never thought I would actually see in real life, and that is me in a stall and a crash. But before then, this is Ron Torn over here at Lone Star Paramotor. And we're going to take a look at his new school real quick. This is absolutely beautiful, Ron.
Oh, thanks, man.
This is really nice.
Thanks, yeah.
So we're going to take a look around a little bit. Tell us about the place and you know, why we got over here in this new hangar.
Yeah, well, we've been here just north of San Antonio for about four years now at Kitty Hawk Airport, and moved recently to a bigger space. So just simply outgrew the old one. So let's take a quick tour. Got all of our foot launch units over here. And we've been doing lots and lots more trikes lately, and we've got a ton of them.
Dang, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Are you primarily trikes now or what?
No, primarily we're foot launch, but increasingly we're doing trikes too. Yeah. Back in this area, we've got a few maintenance bays for motor maintenance over this way. And yeah, turning around, looking across the way.
I see a flag over there. What's that flag say? Let's take a look over here in this maintenance bay and check this one out. Just for hey, what is that? It's a ClearPropTV flag. How awesome is that? I just have to show, you know.
Shameless plug.
It is, man.
Shameless plug. This is Hummel Ultra Cruiser, also an ultralight, so it doesn't require a light sport license.
Can you imagine, guys? You can get one of these things and fly it around because it's an ultralight, less than 254 pounds.
Wow, that's sweet.
Beautiful.
That is sweet.
And what do we call this? The silver squirrel?
Silver Squirrel, yeah. Yeah, I've been flying ultralights for about 3 years now. Yeah, let's come back this way. Key thing that we have that we never did before is a bathroom with a shower, which is great for particularly when guys come over and stay at the field for a class.
It's been very nice to have a shower over here.
And it's nice that you've been taking showers while you're We've got student lockers here, and typically we'll teach a class of 6 at a time. So that's student lockers, and across from them are the instructor lockers as well.
That's badass.
Yeah.
That's a nice. How long have you been there?
So we've been at this airport about 4.5 years now. We've been in this space about 3-4 months, maybe. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. I came down here when they're in the other
Other hangar.
yeah, the other hangar, and the difference is night and day.
Big old wing cage, and Andy, I think you've seen and repaired some of these props. Some of these too. By the way, I like to spread the love around. So Elizabeth has got one now, and Alexis does as well. So next one will be coming to you.
Hey, this wall looks very, very beautiful. Who did that one?
Oh
Yeah. Leo Kiesling did the mural on the wall for us. He came last month and trained to be an instructor. So yeah, it was cool that he did that wall.
Leo's a cool cat, so you know, props to Leo.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're watching, you better be.
I'm sure he's watching. So we've got a nice classroom, which is indoor, which is nice. We've got AC, and we've got also air conditioning and heat. So
Airspace chart, sectional chart. Yeah, man, you got it all set up there.
yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff up here.
on your back or on a rack. Very, very important. What I like is going over all of our stuff that we've done throughout the day on the big screen.
So you review the training and stuff like launches and landings and what you did wrong and stuff.
Yeah, big screen up here. We look at all the launches and landings. We break them down and ask the students what they did and how we can improve. So yeah. And, yeah, so over here, some merchandise.
Got the merch container and
Got the
everything.
merch, yeah.
Man, that's nice.
Yeah. And a little kitchenette area. This is supposed to be a ceiling fan, but it looks too fun coming out of the wall.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is our VR room.
Favorite room over here. This is
Yeah.
awesome. Check this out, guys.
So a couple of simulators in here. This one is for flying ultralights and airplanes, helicopters, things like that. And the one over here is the one for flying paramotors here at Lone Star Paramotor. So up on the screen there, we can take students up for flights flying over their field, so they get used to what everything's going to look like. Here, I'll launch it real quick. All right.
When you say flying over their field, you mean like their field at home?
Actual
Yes.
field, yeah.
Actual field here, yeah. So this is Kitty Hawk flying field here. So this is where they're going to be flying over.
What a great idea.
Yeah. And it makes them a lot more comfortable when they, well, it's not crash yet.
Go!
Acro, there we go. Low acro.
Low acro.
Hey, wait a minute. Is that what I just did? I don't know. We're redoing what I did apparently.
Yeah, no, it's good though. It gives the students a chance to practice here where they're going to be and get used to the surroundings and everything else. So yeah,
So safer than towing, because you used to do towing, but now we don't.
We did.
Because of this, right?
yeah. And this we found helps just a great deal. So yeah, that's been huge too.
Absolutely.
So VR room and
I know, something that everybody wants in their house, right? I want this in my house.
I do too. And then an office too. We fly lots of things here, so also fly RC stuff as well.
Nice, right?
Yeah.
Is that complete with the one-way window there, mirror or whatever?
We just see everybody else
This the one
there.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's right. I got cameras all over the place. When I'm out here, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. I'm impressed.
It's a great space. So
Yeah.
besides training, it's turning into a flying club. So we've got more than a
Murphy
dozen-
bed too, I see. There
Yeah,
we go.
Murphy bed. Yeah.
Murphy bed
For
for
your
the
airplanes.
airplane. Murphy bed for the airplanes, not for the people.
Yeah, exactly right. So welcome
That's
to look.
great. Oh,
Yeah.
fun. Very fun.
Very, very cool. Anybody want a cup of coffee? Check this out. The Keurig, that's one of the best parts,
Gee,
right?
Sean, no wonder you don't want to go home.
No, this is so cool. And all the, I mean, let's just run through all this over here from back here. Look how big.
Oh,
the-
ping pong, of course. My
pong.
favorite.
I know, right? And look at that. They got everything
Hey, we
from.
haven't done this. We got the drop down screen for movie night as well. Yeah.
Why haven't we done movie night? That's coming up.
We did airplane last time. It was hilarious.
Eh,
Airplane, that's like an all-time, that's my
It
favorite.
is.
Yeah.
It is. Look at all the paramotors, guys. That is so awesome. I can't wait. And here's something I love too. I'm just going to show you this real quick before we start our podcast. Behind the silver squirrel, we have another refrigerator. And look at the stickers on the refrigerator. It gives me an idea of what we can do with our refrigerator over at Run Into the Sky. So we might have to do that too.
Yeah, so yeah, actually Alexis Quintana started this. She loved stickers and put them all up. Problem is the refrigerator is rusting out. I
Yeah.
decided to take pictures of it and make just a vinyl print and put it up on the new one so we don't lose any of the old
There you
stickers.
go.
Good idea. Yep. Can you show us
Nice.
outside just a little bit, like the area around outside? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to walk anywhere, just kind of.
Yeah, sure. You can come outside.
Oh yeah. Good deal. Got the 4-wheel.
Oh, yeah. Got all the toys.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly flat there, right? I mean,
It is, and it's, we've got about a 500-foot paved runway. Yeah, it's on about 50 acres, I think, and plenty of room around here. The problem is, we've got Randolph Air
Hey,
Force
bud,
Base.
I'm home in like 10 minutes. At what time?
what was that?
Mm,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something in the back. It's all
Yeah.
good.
I'll have to check. I'll do that.
Really nice, Ron.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Come down and fly with us, please.
Definitely. Yeah. I'd like to. Looks like a real comfortable place to hang out.
You can see
It
over
is.
there, you got a place that you can park your campers. So if you want to come over here and park your campers, you can stay over here too. So I got my camper over there.
Yeah.
So does it have like hookups, like power or whatever?
You know, they do have water, but they've got, you can fill water, but they don't have hookups. And it's $10 a night to stay here.
Can't beat that. That's cheap.
No. But
Yeah.
there is a RV park about 2 miles from here with water and electric.
Yep.
Good deal.
All right.
To go with these guys. I'm not-
very nice.
Excellent. All right. All right, guys.
Oh, geez.
All right. So welcome to the show, season 5, episode 210. Like I said, I never thought that we'd be right here right now talking about this particular situation. And let me see if I can get this off of me and back to everybody. There we go.
Okay. That's why we're here, Sean.
What's that?
You know, that's we're all here for you.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too, I could have been very quiet. I actually, after the impact, I stood up and I'm like, I can look around, I'm okay. But everyone's like, no, let's sit back down. Let's get somebody over here so you can go underneath the train and see the right. Isn't it awesome?
Got to give the underside of the train inspection. You know?
Exactly, right? So it's pretty cool. We also have Andrew Fuller over here. Andrew Fuller, he teaches an SIV clinic. I've gone to him numerous times. He definitely helped me, I believe, in this particular situation. He's going to talk about it tonight. We got Tandem Tommy over here. He does all the tandems. Really good at his tandems. How many tandems did you have today?
4 this morning.
4 this morning, and all you
Yeah.
see is him coming out here doing tandems. Really good guy.
I love tandems.
I know,
You don't have
right?
to ask me twice to go on a tandem.
The background, we have Mac. Hey, Mac.
Hey, Mac.
And who else do we have back here? Kramer. There's Kramer.
Love
What's
you,
up,
Kramer.
Wait, is that the Kramer?
That is the Kramer.
What?
So, you know what? I want to be on a podcast.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Will's-
to be on the podcast, right, Kramer?
What's up, Kramer?
Will's all jealous now. What, Kramer? How come you're there? I want to be there.
We also got Shane and we got Guy. Did I miss anybody back there?
No, it's all gross.
And Ron. Yeah. All right. Good deal.
Nice.
All right. So, we've seen the video, right? I don't know if I can pull up and actually do the video real quick. Can anybody do the video or show the crash video? The last one that I posted actually has the gaggle on it, so you can see my point of view, POV.
That's
And
kind of cool.
the
I saw that.
around, and we can actually see the gaggle app. If you don't know about the gaggle app, search for gaggle app. They are definitely, I believe, the premier app for paramotor pilots. That's absolutely really
It's
awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's
It's a great app.
incredible.
Hey, does it have your descent speed on impact?
I think it does.
I'm gonna guess 12 meters a second. Can you pull it up?
Will, can you?
Do you want with or without sound?
It doesn't make a difference. It's mine, so we can do sound.
Right?
There's no music, so we're not going to hit by anything copyright.
Because 5.5 meters a second is your average reserve descent speed.
Yes.
And you can get it down to like 3.7 if you're on a steerable.
And I actually do have a Regalo. Is it that one or it should be my last one that I just posted.
Not this one?
No, the last one I just posted. It has
He
the,
posted 2 hours ago. He posted it.
yeah.
Okay.
So just go back to the main page and see the last one. It's only like 45 seconds.
45
So
seconds.
I think that a lot of people took a look at this, and originally when I came down, I was so like, what?
The
I mean,
shock of it,
I've been flying this wing for about a year, right? So I probably just crested over 1,000 hours. I think that on my video I said thousands of hours. No, I just crested 1,000 hours of flying, and SIV clinics. That's it right there.
All right, make sure I'm at the beginning.
Is
And
that the APCO F3?
Yes, it is.
What size?
It's the large, which is a 26 meter. And like I said, I've been flying this for about a year, if not over a year. I guess I should go check it out. What's really cool, like I said, is you can watch the three points of views. My point of view, and you can play it anytime that you want to. Shane's point of view and Gaggle's point of view. So the first thing is just, obviously, whoa, what happened, right? And thank goodness I landed in a parachute fall on my back. It's really choppy over here, but I think you guys got the idea.
I can try the
It's all right. There we go. As long as we can see the Gaggle, right?
There's that climb rate.
Nice climb rate. This is nothing that I haven't done before, except I stalled. And then when I stalled, I lost pressure on the wing. I tried to feel it. In just a second or two, I was already on the ground.
So did it show your descent rate?
I don't know. Did you see it?
I think it was too small because it showed his descent rate. I don't think he went down long enough for it to really register.
Yeah, it was like 2 feet per second or something like that.
Yeah, which would be like a normal landing. That would be really gentle. So I don't think those numbers are right.
5.6 feet per second is what the last one I saw.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, there
That's
you
not-
go.
if they ever made a reserve that was only 5.6 feet per second, that would be like half of what they usually are. So I think the numbers are wrong.
Yeah, I don't think it had time to register.
No, it chops too much.
Well,
Yeah,
that-
typically tail slides like 12 meters a second descent.
There we go.
And I think that's why I thought that I went through my wash originally, because when I saw the Gaggle, I went right through the same loop that I came into. That's the reason why I thought I went through the wash. Looking at it and discussing with other people, especially Andrew, he's a instructor over at Skylab SIV, and we went through it a little bit. And if you want to, Andrew, tell us what you think happened, and you also have a little model with you, right?
Yeah, so what I think happened was you did your turn to the left. So the glider came over here to your left side. And then you were out on this side. And I think what would have been more proper is if you would have kind of waited till the glider was more loaded and then initiated your turn. What kind of happened was when the glider went to oscillate back to the right, you stopped it with the left, which would have been fine, but you pulled a little bit more and it just didn't have the forward speed. So it caused it to go into a negative spin. So yeah, so it was basically, it was the glider was off to the side and it wasn't loaded. And you pulled too much left brake, which would be this side, and it just caused it to go back like this. That was the mistake. But I think everything that happened after that was about as perfect as you could have done it. Because you basically caught it in tail slide. It rotated like 90 degrees and you caught it in tail slide. So you just had your two little wingtips wingtips were folded back, and then you came down. I thought that was great because given your altitude and the wing you were on, that it was reflex and stuff, had you let that up, it might have shot all the way down, and like you could have gone over it, you could have gone in it, you could have hit it on the way back down, it could have shot and then frontaled, and then you were still losing altitude on the way down, or it could have shot and done like an asymmetric, which would have been the worst case scenario, because then it would have turned and you would have spun out with a lot of energy, and then you would have been hauling butt and then pounded in. So like, I remember when I initially saw the video, I was like, man, I probably would have opted for the for like the reopen. And I hope I wouldn't have made that decision in the moment, just because reflex gliders, they shoot really hard, even when you know they're coming, even when you know the surge is coming from a stall, they shoot really hard, and you gotta, I can't, like I've stalled spiders and speedsters, and I knew it was coming. I knew the frontal was coming, and I still couldn't prevent it. And I did it like 3 times in a row. So, and then I went out like the following week and did it again and still kicked my ass. So I think Sean handled it after the original mistake that caused the negative spin. I think he handled everything after that about as good as one could do it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, there's really not much time. You saw that by the time that I felt nothing, and then I tried to feel the pressure again, in 2 seconds, I was on the ground. So another thing that we're all talking about too is what is considered low and what is considered acro, because I've heard some comments saying, well, you know, you're doing low acro. Well, what is low and what is acro, right? I mean, and we had this discussion too, where, you know, we'd do a foot drag, shoot up, bank hard to the right, you know, and spiral up or whatever else we do.
It's a common, no?
Very common. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of paramotor pilots, once they have some, you know, skill, they've been doing this for a year or two, you know, they advance gliders. And also too, it took me 4 years before I jumped on a C wing, right? So it wasn't like I just went from an A wing to a B wing and then, you know, hey, it's only been a couple hours, let's jump on a C wing. It took me a long time to progress to a C wing, and this is considered a low C wing. And I've been flying it for about a year or so. So I think that my progression has been really slow. It's just one of those things that happens. And when it does, man, it just smacks you out of the air, you know, and you're like, what just happened? And so I think that the training of feeling the pressure and then knowing that I'm going to come down, try to do a tail slide, I think was because of Andrew's training. And even Andrew said, I think it was because of the training that we did in SIV courses. I think that SIV courses are pretty important. I guess the question is, how many people have done SIV courses?
I'll go ahead and say acro is defined as the glider going equal or below the horizon, which is a loose term because when they came out with acro, the helicopter didn't exist yet, and the helicopter never drops below that, right? But the helicopter is definitely acrobatics. So that's kind of how they do it. Like, I think with paramotoring, what we consider acro, and then like in free flight, what you consider acro is 2 different things. I kind of define when you're diving at the ground and stuff, like anything below 100 feet, I consider that ground game. And that's something I just kind of came up with it. But when you're like doing wingtip drags, you're spiraling real low and stuff like that, it's not necessarily acro. In paramotoring, we would consider it acro. And I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, that guy's doing acro is like a loose term, but I consider that more of like ground game. But I don't think what you were doing was like particularly reckless in any way. I think it was just a mistiming. You know, it's like we mistime stuff. I remember actually, you got the video of this, Sean, but one of the worst frontals I ever took was you were like, hey man, take my GoPro, put it on your head and go up and do some stuff. And I was doing rhythmics, I was doing helicopters. And then at one point I did a dynamic stall where I shot out of a rhythmic and I came up and I did a dynamic stall where I stalled the wing back here. And then I was going to wait for it to shoot and catch it on the shoot, but it was a completely clear day. So I had no reference for like clouds or anything. And the glider was shooting and I was like, wait a second. I should have had an indicator by now on when I should have pulled to check this frontal. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to throw a full blown check anyways. And I still took a massive frontal and fell past the wing. And I'd been doing acro for 10 years at that point, you know? So it's just like that one maneuver just caught me off. So like, you know, things happen. We make mistakes. You just want to be high, which is a rule that I violate almost every single time I fly. Like if I'm doing anything that's like paragliding acrobatics, I'm over 1,000 feet. But like the paramotor ground game, it's not really fun to do barrel rolls and tight turns at 1,000 feet. You know, it's fun to do them low. So that's kind of like, yeah. I think it's kind of inevitable, you know. Like we're not even when you go to fly-ins, you don't see somebody climb up to 3,000 feet. They climb up to 1,000 feet. We consider that high. Whereas an SIV, we don't do shit below 1,000 feet. So
I've got a question. You said he did a tail slide. So somebody who knows nothing about it, is there a simple way to explain what a tail slide is?
it's when your glider they call it tail slide or back fly because your wingtips are from the bottom. This is what it looks like. So like right when you stall it, the wing goes like this, and then it goes like this, and then when you ease up on the brakes a little bit, you pull into like this is what you're looking at when you're looking straight up, and you're flying back at like a pretty low descent rate. Like it's not a bad way to hit the ground, honestly. But yeah, it's basically this. And if you were to go hands up, then the wing would open up like this and then shoot. And that's when he could end up in a situation where he's looking at this side of the glider, but the earth is here, you know?
And that kept part of the glider at least open to where it wasn't a free fall. It was because part of the glider still looked like it was open, you know, when he was
I'd say 80% of it was open. And he was, I don't know, Sean, tell me this. Was your back to the wind when this happened?
I believe that so I took off. Well, I don't think there was much wind. It was a very nil wind. So I actually ran a little bit further than I normally did. But after I took off and turned around, I was kind of 90 degrees from where I actually took off. And if there was wind at all, which I don't think there was much, yeah, there's just no wind
It
that
was
day.
maybe 1 mile an hour that day.
Maybe, yeah.
So you were in a real high tail slide because like you can tail slide in the wings like this, and and then you're actually flying backwards more. And well, actually, when it's really like this, you're coming down, and then as you start to open it up, you fly backwards more, and then as you open it up even more, you stop flying backwards. So you were coming almost straight down, which means you were in pretty high of a tail slide, which is a good thing, because the higher up in the tail slide you are, the slower you come down.
What's that?
Extra drag.
Extra drag, absolutely. Yeah. And looking really close at the landing, I really think that the landing was perfect. I kind of swung a little bit forward, and then when I came in, my feet were right here. My feet hit, and I rolled backwards. So, of all the things that could have happened after I made my mistake, I think that I lucked out on it.
That impact was very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a question for you, Sean. When you were in that situation, and I can't judge. I mean, there's just no unless you're right in the middle of that same situation. I mean, you just it's hard to. So it looks like you did the right thing, right? Because you survived, and I'm happy about that. But in the moment when things were just going all freaking crazy, did you find that the temptation to just bury the brakes and try to save yourself, or what was your thought process with that? I mean,
well, originally when I came around, I normally would continue to turn to the right? So you do a fun foot drag, you bank up, you turn towards the torque of the motor, which to the right. And I usually just continue to go right and spiral and go up, catch some altitude. This time I just stopped. I saw the sunrise. I got my camera right here. I wanted to get a nice little picture. I ain't gonna do that one again. So when I came around, I'm like, oh, look at that, that's pretty. And then as soon as I did it, it's like one of those things. As soon as you do it, you're like, I effed up. So what I was thinking at the moment, that since I just went up that way and I came back around and I hit where I thought my prop wash was, I thought that's what frontaled me. Looking back, I don't think that's what happened. And then when I was in the hospital, they really enjoyed pumping me full of morphine, fentanyl, Tylenol, three liquid and something else that I can't remember. Nor do I remember the entire day over there. But when I was doing my analysis, once again, it's like, what the hell that happened? Did I go through my prop wash? You know, so that's the reason why I thought I went through the prop wash originally. And looking back at the gaggle, it looks like I crossed my prop wash also at that point. But I don't think that any wash that my little machine did would have caused anything. Even if I pinnacled right there, you know, and went completely stalled, I don't think that, I don't think it was the prop wash. I think I just stalled the wing, improper timing, and I got lucky like an MF coming down and landing the way I did. I think I just got lucky on that one.
Not saying that gaggle is completely accurate, but when you look at the path, you've got about 20 feet difference between at your point where you crossed. So you were at about 20 feet when you went past that spot the first time, and then you were at about 39 feet the next time. So
Okay.
based on that, there's no way you would have been close to your prop wash.
And I agree with you, you know, now that I'm not, you know, high on all sorts of cool legal medicines, I agree. But, you know, originally you're like, you know, what happened? And you try to now, you know, try to figure out what this is. And that's why I wanted to put it out there on the internet. What happened? You know, let's figure this out. Let's have the whole community check this out. And obviously looking back, it's like, no, there's no way that a prop wash would have done that. It was me, 100% pilot fault, 100% me, pilot fault, wrong timing, everything. And hopefully this video, not only the video, but this podcast, hopefully will shed some light on, number one, how to progress in a wing. Like I said, I've been flying B wings up until, you know, fourth year, and only this year, or this last year, have I used an F3, which is considered a low class C, and it's still very safe, very stable. I just been progressing and progressing, and I got to the tippy top and kind of pushed it too far. You know, so 100% my fault.
Adam has joined us. I wanted to introduce him. He's also an SIV instructor up here in Canada, and he's been doing acro for many years. And I know we had invited a few people, but I thought I'd just ask him what his take on that whole situation was. Do you have audio, Adam?
Yeah, I think it's working. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty simple what happened. It's just, you know, you're getting to the top of the climb. You didn't have much airspeed at the point in which you needed to let dive and recover some airspeed. You cut some brake on and yeah, just simply spun the wing. Ideally, you would have noticed your shoulder kind of starting to slip and just let up on the brakes completely and it had flown away. But once you were fully committed to the stall, it was almost good that you kept it in a tail slide or deep stall all the way to the ground, because the worst thing could have happened is shoot, have it recover speed and face drive yourself into the ground. So I know that's not really what you were trying to do, but it's a good thing you kept it in a tail slide, kind of saved your ass. I've seen acro pilots hit the ground like that before. You can actually have a pretty low descent rate if you keep a full open deep stall or tail slide. So good recovery. I know it's not really what you're trying to do, but you know, that can definitely save your butt when this happens. But yeah, just simply at that moment when you're coming up over the top, the wing's naturally trying to dive, recover airspeed because you just have no airspeed left, and any little break in that moment can lead to a spin or stall, and it's exactly what you saw. So in the future, you feel a shoulder slip, hands up both sides, and it would have recovered like that. Wing would have shot ahead. The issue is you just got to let it dive. You have to let it dive a little bit. And everyone's reaction is, oh, glider's ahead, brake, which is fine when you're flying, but not when you're stalled. You need to let it crawl out a bit in front of you. But
Yeah.
glad you're okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So my injuries, I got some ligaments in my neck that ripped a little bit and a fractured back, T12. Thank goodness it was in the very front of it and not the back where my spinal cord is or nerves. So I was just supposed to be in a brace for 4 weeks and let it naturally calcify and fix itself. No surgery necessary. So basically walked away with pretty minor injuries compared to what could have happened. And like you said, if I did let it open up and it did finally open up and I did go down, there's a possibility I could have had a huge pendulum swing into the ground. And like Andrew said too, I could have whipped around, I could have landed in my wing, I could have went sideways and had even more momentum coming in out of all the stuff, man. I mean, somebody was looking after me. Also too, which is neat, they found some things in me that I normally would not have found. So this might have been, God's way of saying, hey, you got some stuff going on here, smack, go to the hospital and check this out. So I went over to the Army hospital and they did the MRIs and stuff. They found that I have a enlarged thyroid, which I need to get taken care of, and an aneurysm in my pelvic region. So I need to get that taken care of, which I wouldn't have known.
That's good they found that.
And unless this happened. So
that's unrelated to the accident?
yeah, 100% unrelated to the accident. They just happened to find it because they were imaging my lower back and my neck, and they found these two things that no one would have known about. So I actually get that.
Wow.
to-
Wow.
So I made some appointments, already got some appointments made to go over to the VA and have them look at the thyroid and this aneurysm that I have that I had no clue I had in the first place.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, it's nice they found that.
Yes. Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, like you're saying here, it's great to be able to post these videos and look back and analyze and just post it out to the community just to say like, hey, like what lessons can we learn from this?
Exactly.
I've had my own mistakes that we've posted and tried to say like, okay, like what can we do to learn from this,
Exactly. What is the takeaway? Andrew Fuller, what is the takeaway from what I did? How can new pilots or even experienced pilots, how could they avoid doing what I did? Well, obviously we know, but let's hear it from them.
Man, so one of the things, and I say this every year, and every year it happens. Every year I get two friends that get hurt. Springtime is when they always get hurt, man. So like when you come off of a winter, like take it easy. Like I got injured. I didn't fly for 4 months on my one wheel. And it wasn't because I hadn't flown in 4 months. It was more that it was like springtime, like full moon shit, where you're like, this is when they all get hurt.
Yep.
I've been getting away with it for like 13 years now. So like my first flight, like my springtime flights are always my most cautious because you're coming back from 4 or 5 months of not flying. But yeah, like Adam says, like be aware of the brake pressure. I'd say take SIVs. Because if you've never stalled a wing before, if you've never been in tail slide or anything like that, and something like that happens, your natural reaction is going to be to throw your hands up, and then you're going to get in all sorts of trouble. Like after it stalls, because you won't recognize, because like when we do SIVs after people have been doing stalls for a while, we'll actually have them come up and like play with the brakes and try and almost stall it, like so they can feel it, or like play with like a negative spin, and then when it goes to negative spin, go hands up and catch it. And if they don't catch it in time, then they have to stall it. So I think the fact that you had done tail slide before, you've done stalls and stuff before, really saved your ass. But yeah, I think just being cautious, man. It's the way we always get hurt, Nobody ever gets taken out by an airplane. We always just it's always our own showing off, especially when girls are around.
Or cameras.
Yep.
I must say too, like in this accident, right? Like wings, most paramotor wings are designed to stall tip first, so you get a lot of warning, right? But like if you're turning aggressively or playing at the top of a pendulum, you could just look at the wing as you're doing the maneuver, and you would have had so much warning seeing that tip peel, right? So whenever I'm playing or doing anything low to ground, I keep the wing in vision. I know there's a lot of people there say never look at the wing, but you'll see anything way before you feel it. So, when you're playing low, turning sharp, keep an eye on the corner of your wing, and you'll know if it's peeling. Second it peels, hands up, nothing's happened, right? So I think it's really important to learn how to fly looking at your wing. You'll avoid a lot of these little incidents like this.
Yeah, he's right. I know a lot of people say don't look at the wing. I've even had like I've been to SIVs where they're like teaching you how to stall and they don't want you to look at the wing. And I'm like, dude, all I do is look at the wing. That's like my first indicator. Because like you said, yeah, you can see everything a lot quicker. And then it also helps, like you see it when you feel it, and then it helps you to kind of build up a thing. So next time you feel something, your visions pop up with like, oh yeah, because I just lost a bunch of brake pressure, it's probably doing this on that side. So whenever I'm doing anything except for landing, I look at the wing.
Exactly. And these wings are designed to talk to you. Like it'll start reacting and peeling, and the performance won't really change. You'll have so much warning. Like even in the video here, it's peeling way before it stalls or spins or anything. You had like a year of time to just spinning, hands up and fly away. So yeah, keeping an eye on it, especially when you're low, especially when you're playing sharp turns. It's good to learn how to fly looking at the wing. I know when you first start doing it, it's a bit of a mind bender, but it's a good skill to have. Really good skill. All I do is look at the wing.
Yeah, had I been on the ground, I would have been freaking out about a half a second before that happened. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, like it really there's definitely plenty of visual indicators on that maneuver going south.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. For sure. You can see it clear as day way before it happened.
mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Hindsight is definitely 2020 when you see something like this looking back. Yeah, you could see it when you're flying and you just don't expect it. You know, you got that second of, whoa, where'd my brakes go? Then it's like, oh, I'm falling, and then boom, I hit. It's like, where'd those seconds go? I mean,
Yeah.
you just don't have any time.
Happens so fast.
It does. I definitely recommend SIV courses. Not to do acro, but SIV courses are to, help you when something happens up in the air. So Andrew, what is an SIV course? What does it stand for, and why do you go take it?
It's a French acronym for like simulated incident and flight. And yeah, the big misconception is that it's like for acro. It's not. Especially not your first one, but it is like a precursor to acro. Like you can't learn acro if you haven't installed your wing and thrown a reserve and done frontals and all that stuff. But basically, it's you put them up on a super safe wing with 2 reserves. You tow them up to a real good altitude, and you slowly get into stuff. So you do your first frontal, and that's it. And then you do a frontal hold for 3 seconds. You do a frontals hold for 5 seconds. You do the same thing with asymmetrics. You do your first little asymmetric deflation. You pull the deflation. You release it. It comes out right away. Your next one, you hold it a little bit longer. Your next one, you hold it, and then you fly straight. Then you hold it. You turn a little bit. Then you correct it. And you just kind of ease into it so that the first time you encounter something, it's not the first time it's happened to you. You know, if you take a bunch of frontals in SIV, you knew they were coming, you knew how to do it. You also get like a sense of confidence when you have an instructor on the ground, like speaking to you the whole time. And then if you take one, in the wild, it's not your first rodeo. And I think that's what saved your butt was when you took it, you were like, tail slide, I got it. Even though you didn't have time to think, it went to like a reactionary period. So, yeah.
Very interesting. Do we have any questions in super chat? I wasn't able to look at this while we're doing this. Hey, don't you have a sign for me? How good of my what do you think if as I was coming down, what kind of sign would you put up?
I think that landing gets this rating.
Okay, suck less. Okay.
Your recovery.
But my recovery. Okay, good deal.
So,
Yeah,
you guys should get one that says, my favorite word is rubbish.
Yes.
Rubbish.
yeah.
Yeah, that was rubbish. Do another one.
That's funny.
There are a couple of
Rubbish.
questions / statements you've already answered some of them. On that topic of SIV, James is basically saying that he'd like to go to an SIV to, just to throw a reserve. That's a great place to throw a reserve, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's where I threw my first reserve.
Yeah. Eric Von Eric sent $5 in the super chat, so thank you for that, man.
Thank you very much. This show, we actually
Thank
have
you, Eric. Thank you.
everything goes over to the Disabled American Veterans. You should be able to see it on your YouTube channel. All donations go over to Disabled American Veterans. So thank you very much, Eric Von Eric.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Angela Preslick says, respect Sean for learning from these kind of things is so important. And
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that earlier. What was really badass is that Sean didn't hesitate or anything. You know, he's not like he called me first or he was just like, I'm posting it. And he posted it up and he just owned it, you know? Like that's cool, man. A lot of people don't like to do that stuff. You know, and I get why, you know, you don't want to put yourself out there and get criticized by everything, but the fact is we all make mistakes. So and a bunch, dude,
Yeah.
that little video that he posted of it and like how open he was, like right away, man, you never know. That could have saved somebody like that
Sure.
day. That woke up, they saw that video, and they were like, shit, you know, I gotta watch out for that. Then they went out there and did something stupid, and they were able to like, or they didn't do something stupid because of it, or if they did, they knew be a little higher, you know, whatever it was,
Sure.
like that could save something.
Yeah, what I
So-
was thinking about after you mentioned that you were grabbing for your phone and wanting to take a picture, I've done that myself, and it's like you do it and things go squirrely and you're like, oops, better not do that again. Better take your time and just take another turn around. It was a good reminder, like Andrew said, at the beginning of the year, you just think you can do everything all at once. It's not you're not as used to it.
Kramer, where are you?
They
Somebody wants to see you
wanna
in the
see-
chat.
So the other statement along these lines is from James. He says it's tough when people post videos for learning purposes. So many internet turds will blast away at the opportunity. Everyone makes mistakes, even the best PPG pilots, but they always don't post them. And you know what? Hey, Kramer, that is like first and foremost, man, when somebody has something bad happen to them, number one, it affects all of us. Number two, don't forget they're a human being and compassion, I mean, has a role to play here before you go criticizing and all that stuff. So I try when something happens like that, first I want to make sure the person's okay and the status of the person, but um, man, I just withhold my judgment until, you know, at least have the person explain what happened. And
you know, that's a really good point because like you know, we all, like I always say, look, if we lived forever and we all flew for 50 years, we'd all get injured, bro. If we all flew for 100 years, we'd all be missing fingers, right? It's you know, once you do something, but like, you know, paramotoring is something that we do a lot, and we do it for fun, and we do it for, you know, enjoyment, and we do it for our adrenaline and all that stuff. And then you post those pictures because and those videos so people can learn from it and stuff. And yeah, you get abnormally criticized. Whereas we all make all kinds of decisions, you know, like that are bad. Like we don't post our bad business decisions. We don't post like bad relationship decisions. But then but you do post your paramotor stuff, right? Because that's like the one thing that people can learn out of, you know. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's like, dude, we make mistakes. Are you kidding me? Like, whoever's
someone's
never
living in a glass house, you know.
Bro, I do something stupid once a year. I do something legitimately stupid once a year. And it's just I haven't done anything stupid for 2 years. And I'm just like, better be cautious, man. Like you haven't done your yearly dumb shit, you know. Like one time I did a sat through fog, and I took a deflation during the sat, which made me decide to exit the sat. And when I exited, the ground was right there. I missed the ground by 15 feet.
Dang.
Like yeah, I mean, it was this. I got that one posted. It's posted under like, it's not posted as like me being a dumbass. It's me talking about some shit, and then I just post me doing that. But it's like, I mean, I already killed myself. Like,
Yeah.
had I not done a proper sat, not pulled it in tight enough, and not taken that little ruffle on my wingtip. Yeah, we all do it, man.
Yeah,
So,
man. Let
Yeah.
he cast, what's that saying? Let he who has cast the first stone or something. Oh, something about if you haven't done wrong. Yeah, never mind.
yeah, it's he who lives
Have
in a
no
glass
sin.
house. Yeah, he who lives in a glass house should not throw the first stone.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I definitely was blasted. A majority of things that people were saying is, you know, why, you didn't go through your wash. You didn't go through your wash. Why do you keep on saying you went through your wash? Well, when you fall and you don't know what happened, you know, when you're in the hospital and you're high on some legal drugs, you don't know what happened. But looking back now, you know, it's like, okay, I just stole my wing and that's all it was. I didn't go through a no wash, but you know, I was definitely blasted for that statement.
Bro, there's like 6 paramotor pilots in the world that haven't blamed their first mistakes on the prop wash, bro. There's like 6 of them. You know,
So there you go.
everybody
Right,
when they start out, man, they come in, they're like, bro, what happened on this landing? You're like, you landed improperly, and they're like, dude, I think there was a gust of wind. I think, and you're like, no, you know, it's a reaction, especially, you know, and then when you fall out, hit your, you know, fracture your back, and you're sitting there on morphine in the hospital. It's like, oh, you're lucky that's all you said, man.
Yeah, probably.
Angela wants to know if you're going to be at Fly It for Gauge, Andrew.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd love to hear Kramer's status. I bet she's excited.
Kramer has a new trike over here that we looked at that she's parked over there. It's pretty. I like it. It's really nice. Very, very beautiful.
It's unique and
It's-
it's awesome.
Yeah. Have you taken it for a spin yet?
No, I have not had it off the ground yet. I did one short taxi, but it's got a flat front tire. I didn't have a spare tube, but I taxied it at 1/3 power. The nose lifts off the ground with I don't need a wing.
Wow.
So, you know, wipe everybody out when I ever get to the trike. Oh, I have 20 flights in.
Mhm.
And by the way, on my 20th flight, I did my first touch and go, assisted. Ron
Nice.
talked me through it. And then he said, go around the field and do another one by yourself. So I did.
Yeah.
It was awesome. 20 flights in. When I get 5 more, I'll be PPG2 rated and I'll fly in my yard. And in my yard, April 26th to 28th, we're having the Heart of Texas fly-in.
Nice.
Third one.
This is your 3rd year at the flying?
It's the 3rd fly-in, but I'm doing it
Nice.
because it's so much fun.
Well, yeah, flyings are awesome.
That's so fun. How exciting.
I
Yeah.
haven't
For you.
flown yet, but I might be able to fly at mine this year.
That'd be really
You're such an inspiration, Kramer, to all us women. I'm not a pilot as such, but you know, all us women that love to fly, be in the sky and everything. You are so much inspiration to everybody. You know, you do, and you inspire me. You know, it's like you're never too old. You know, just to do something fun.
Yeah, and thank you for calling me an inspiration instead of an instigator. That's what
You're not an instigator. Well, I'm sure like if both of us were together, like the Lindas, to put 2 Lindas together, yeah, it would be like double trouble instigators. Yes. Because I'm
Is
pretty
your trike
good.
handy? Can we see your trike? Or is it like somewhere else?
I'll roll it out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's right over there, right past the silver squirrel.
and I took my orange shoes off
Yeah, you were just really reflective today.
because I was gonna have a vertigo and it's orange, so I got shoes to match it.
Well,
Because when I'm 1,000 feet in the air, you can see my orange shoes kicking.
That's what I need to do too. I need to have something more reflective, more orangey or more something like
Yes,
that.
you do.
Oh, look at this beautiful thing coming over.
It's beautiful.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we've
that's like a Mercedes.
Yeah.
still got the reserve and the floats to put on there, but, yeah, it's a beautiful trike.
Travis custom made this net for me because this was all open so a bird could fly through there and get hit by
Oh,
or I could lose my helmet and go through there. So Travis custom made that and he custom made this back cage because I have a tendency of stopping while my wing is still flying and then it just flutters down on top and this will keep the wing safe.
That's pretty nice.
So he custom made this and matched it to the trike frame.
Perfect color.
It has 45 hours on it, and that motor gets rebuilt at 1,000 hours.
1,000 hours. Why is it 1,000 hours for this, but not ours? What's the difference?
Yeah. Still a 2-stroke. It's a Hearth, an aviation motor. And TBO to be overhauled 1,000 hours.
An actual aviation two-stroke motor.
Yeah.
Are you
Cool.
gonna tell us or what? 1,000 hours go fly and you don't have to do anything to this for 1,000 hours. I'm jealous.
2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. Sure, that's it. So this is Kramer's trike. So anytime that you see this beautiful thing flying and the trike, you know,
I don't think I've seen anything like it. I think that's beautiful.
It is. The seat looks comfy. Is it comfortable?
Has gel strap harness. It's super comfortable and it's got a big thick gel pad for the seat. But right now I got the
Okay.
floaties in the reserve seat, or I'd climb into it and show you. But I get to play on the monkey bars every time I want to go fly.
I
it is.
love it. And they adjust it. They adjust it to short people with short legs, then I take it.
When I got it, the wheel was 3 notches further out than it is now. That's as far back as it'll go.
Okay.
But if I want to do a U-turn, I gotta squish down in my seat and squish forward because I can't do a U-turn.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
But I can-
Wow.
Here, but Sean taught me that's not a good idea.
Not very fast, so make sure you got plenty of speed, right? Absolutely. So Ron, you're gonna be giving away a couple of things today. What are you gonna be giving away?
Yeah, okay, so we've got a sticker here. This is for a car window.
That looks really
That's
nice.
our paramotor, sure. And we also have a beanie. These we use in colder weather just to cover our heads underneath the helmet. So
That's really nice.
yeah, something like
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah, just keeps
Yeah.
warm anyway in the winter time.
You got the coolest logo.
What's
Thank
the fabric on that beanie?
Stretchy.
I was just thinking you
Sure.
refer to it as a winter beanie, so I'm like,
Yeah.
Canadian winter or Texas winter?
There you go.
Yeah.
Texas winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Texas winter where it gets down to 50, it really gets cold over here.
sure. I don't have a lot of protection up here.
Yeah, more of a sun cap.
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah,
Sun cap,
absolutely.
definitely over here.
Cool.
Uh,
So you
Andrew-
can put your helmet right over it, right? Over
Yeah.
that beanie? That's
Yes.
it's made so you can wear a helmet over it?
Yes, that's the purpose. So you could put it right over the helmet in the winter time and it keeps your head a little bit warmer. You can still put the ear cups in. Yeah.
What about people with a lot of hair like me? Where do you put all this then when you put that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not even gonna touch that one. Yeah.
Bigger beanie,
I need a bigger beat.
bigger beanie, a bigger beanie.
That's cool.
Andrew
Very
Fuller
good.
is also going to be giving away something today. Andrew, what you're going to be giving away today?
Oh, I got some brake toggles. Little 3-finger toggles for the 2D steering.
Please.
So I got them in. I got a whole box of them. So whoever, if you want a 2 or a 3 or a 4, just let me know. It's actually what I've been making the whole time on the.
Oh man, that's right.
Yeah, I'm over here putting magnets in all my brakes.
Wow.
Scissors. Yeah.
Stocking
that would-
stuffers.
That would make it so I could use my Mac Para charger as a 2D steering.
Yeah. Yeah, we got. Yeah, basically, yeah, they're 3-finger, and they can be they're 2D as well. So
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I imagine those wear out after a while, don't they? Is that people replace them a lot?
no, it's more for preference. This is like this actual like material, like this stuff, the actual
Yeah.
webbing is rated for 4,000 pounds. I don't see it ever wearing out.
Okay.
It's just more for like some people don't like their normal brake toggles, and then some people have different throttles. So you have like a full brake toggle, and then you have like trigger fingers. So maybe you want something for 3 fingers instead of all 4, or 2 fingers instead of all 4.
Oh,
So
cool. Very creative. Okay.
Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody. So Will, fly whenever you want to. Just go ahead and put up the spinny wheel.
All right.
Spinny things. How many people are watching and how many thumbs up do we have today?
You
And-
got 41 watching and 8 thumbs up. You can do better than that.
We also, this show is for helping disabled American veterans. And it looks like we got $45 of $200 raised. Thank you very much. That does not go to me. That goes directly to that foundation, the Disabled American Veterans. So awesome. Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Give me just a second on the wheel, Sean.
Okay.
Got some late shower uppers here.
Hey, show
Shoulder uppers. Yep, I gotta say hi to all my chatters. I love my chatters. Thank you, chatters, for joining us tonight. I so appreciate you every Monday night coming here, watching my show.
Especially when it's something that's not just a normal show. It's about something that
Yes,
anybody that's into paramotoring, you know.
Yep.
I went
Yep.
5 years with 0 incidences, you know, maybe an airbox going through the prop, or, you know, I think one time I had a strobe that went through the prop. I had the exhaust that went through the prop because it was a my 20 or my 19 thing. And I think I had, oh yeah, and I foot dragged a gravel road and broke a prop. So the worst I had was a broken prop and an airbox. That's my worst. Well, if you want to talk about the strobe, it didn't make it either. All right, Linda, all you.
all right. Are you ready?
We
Okay.
are ready.
Okay, welcome chatters. Good luck to everybody. We got Joseph Hudgens in the house. John Wayne, what's up, cowboy? We got lovely Kramer, Angela Presley. How are you, my lovely? Kyle Neal, Chris Gobel, Tony Marzano, Mr. Vegas in the house. Bill H, my bestest friend. The other Nick. We got Joe Hadell in the house. One Wheel Grandma. Hi, sweetie. I love you. Travis DuPont, aka Rig. Greg Laney in the house. James, Fly Baby Fly Ordanki's in the house. How you doing, buddy? We got Eric
Yo.
Von Eric. We got Mike Thompson, Tommy Sutherland, Seabree. Is that supposed to be Seabees or Seabreeze? And Walter Fiore. Okay, from Australia. So we all know it's already tomorrow. Tomorrow's coming, or tomorrow's already here. We got Graham Lee, Ryan R. Rides. What's up? Mike Thompson, PPG, and Scuba in the house tonight in the chat. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, man.
Got some
You
cool
say
prizes
let me
out there.
shuffle these.
What's
You
that?
got one more. You got one more, Will.
Do I?
Yeah.
David Rainey.
Ah, David Rainey.
Oh, hi, David Reed. Woohoo!
All right.
Cool.
Is that everyone?
Looks like, let's see.
So I got Mike Thompson on here twice, apparently.
He's like, that's okay.
I know, right?
Yeah, okay, I see him here. No, he's the one that brought it up. So thank you, Mike. Hope you win, brother.
Cool.
All right, you
Thank
ready?
you, chatters.
Ready.
All right, I'm gonna say tonight, I'm going to say One Wheel Grandma. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, watch
What's
Kramer.
up,
Will,
Susan?
Kramer will win probably, and I just hand her the sticker, and here you go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Mike Thompson. I'm gonna stick with that.
okay.
I'm going with Bill H.
All right. I greased the wheel this time.
Hey, you did. It's going around forever. We'll probably find out who won tomorrow.
We'll have Walter tell us.
Yeah. So while this is spinning, Ron, tell us, how do we get up with you if we win this sticker?
Just go ahead and give me a call, 512-431-0173. And be happy to send you your sticker. It hasn't stopped yet.
Oh,
No, it hasn't.
well, Oh, is it David Rainey? Is it Travis?
Man, I don't know. Oh, it's David Rainey, right on. Can you
Oh,
believe it? The
man.
very first one on the wheel. I think this thing is rigged.
It is. It's always
You're welcome, David.
I was so close to Travis.
Yep. So David, do me a favor. Ron's going to tell you how to get up with him, and you have a choice between a beanie and a really awesome Lone Star paramotor sticker.
Yeah, David, just give me a call, 512-431-0173, or email me at ron@lonestarparamotor.com.
Excellent. Very easy. Very easy. All right. Got 2 more spins, guys. So
Ooh,
if
okay, still
if
got a
David-
chance, Travis.
if David in the super chat says that he wants a sticker or the beanie, he gets the first choice. We're going to go ahead and spin it again for the whatever's not chosen.
All right,
All
let us know what
right.
you want, David.
I'm
Reset.
gonna say Travis. Let's hope Travis wins it.
I'm gonna go with Kramer.
Good cause.
I just appreciate all my chatters. And my chatters have been following us like forever. We so appreciate everybody on Monday nights.
Round and
So Dave Randy wants the beanie.
beanie. Excellent.
Good choice.
We're spinning for this really beautiful Lone Star Paramotors vinyl sticker. Not just a regular sticker, but this is vinyl. It's really, really nice.
Oh, it's getting close to Australia.
Maybe fly. Maybe your Dankies. Might be
Is
your
it
day,
your
man.
Yankees?
Or Dankies. It is rigged. It's rigged for you, buddy.
Right in the center too.
There you go.
Woo!
Fly, baby,
Fly,
fly.
baby,
Your
fly.
Dankies.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
All right, Ron, how does Fly Baby Fly get up with you so we can claim this beautiful
Yeah.
vinyl sticker?
Yeah, same way, ron@lonestarparamotor.com, or text or call me 512-431-0173.
Excellent. All right.
Pardon me?
Cool.
Kramer's got his address.
Really? Oh, Kramer's got the address. Woo! All
There
right.
you go, CT Fly.
That's true.
City Fly.
One more time, we're going to spin it. Andrew Fuller from Skylab SIV. Hey, Andy, tell us about your SIV clinic, how to get up with you, and what they get to win.
They get the brake toggles, and you can look me up at skylabparamotorsiv.com, SkyTap Paramotor, or SkyTap Paramotors, or gliderinspection.com. But yeah, if you I'd say just give me a call, and we'll figure out which color you want and which style, and I'll get them in the mail tomorrow.
Excellent. What's your phone number?
813-391-0237.
Excellent. Now everybody knows that I fly the SkyTap Paramotor also. What do you think would have happened if I landed the way I did with the SkyTap Angel?
I don't think you would have gotten injured with the Angel.
I think so too. I would have just bounced and said, all right, let's go again.
Yeah, because it sits lower and it's fixed hang point. And I don't think your legs took a lot of the impact. I think your frame and your main body took a lot of the impact, whereas the Angel sits lower. I think you just would have you might have smashed the frame.
Bill H.
Bill
You
H.
mean, you mean it might have had to be under warranty?
Some brake toggles. Oh, you have
Bill
Bill.
H.
That's a surprise.
That was really close, Angela. Man, that job.
Oh, man.
Congratulations, Bill.
Very, very awesome.
So how does Bill get up? Oh, you already told him what to do.
Well, let's go ahead and hear it again, because maybe somebody, is watching the show and goes, maybe I need to take an SIV course. Maybe I want to fly a SkyTap Angel, or maybe I need to get my glider inspected. Tell us about all that stuff, Andrew.
Yeah, just hit me up. My number is 813-391-0237. You can find me on Facebook. Find me at skylabparamotorsiv.com. And yeah, any of those things, definitely get your gliders inspected, definitely get your stuff repacked. I think the most important thing you can do, and Adam would probably agree with me, is SIVs. Not for acro, just so your first deflations are all in a controlled environment. So
I also think throwing that reserve the first time, in a situation, where it's under a supervised throw and you know that you're safe is probably something that I think everybody should do.
Yeah,
Have you ever thrown a reserve?
I haven't, but the students practice engine outs,
Mhm.
right, in training, so that when it happens for real, it's not the first time. So yeah, good to take an SIV course.
I think so.
yeah, that's real important. Like the motor out stuff, man. That's like a real important one.
Yeah.
You can sit there and simulate it until you actually cut your motor.
Yeah.
So
Interesting, I'll tell a student, cut your motor. And sometimes I'll have him, do his legs this way, like, nope, absolutely not gonna do it.
Nah.
Right. But the ones that do, they'll cut it, and occasionally they'll come on comms. Do I start it up now? Should I start it up now? And we want them to drift for a while, right?
Mm.
We'll have them start it up, and then we'll usually say that's the sound of your motor restarting. That feel is your sphincter relaxing.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. It's
hey, did you guys see that? You guys see that video? Where that guy was flying and his throttle went right into his prop, and then his prop exploded on his netting, and his engine went to full throttle.
I didn't see that. Crap.
Oh my god!
Wait,
Yeah.
was he flying or was he ground started?
It's a 2-minute video. He takes off. He's about 30 seconds into his flight. The cable sneaks back through there, hits the prop, and the basically when the cable hits it, it torques the motor, so the prop explodes on the cage and takes out part of the cage, part of the netting, right? But that was actually kind of a good thing because it busted the prop. So now it wasn't generating any thrust.
Yeah.
He comes down, lands, and he lands on his face. And the engine is just running away at like 9,000 RPMs because there's no resistance from the prop.
Yeah, he's just laying there for a while, and this guy walks up just real casually. He's
Yeah. He's like, get us. So good. You're like, that's the craziest guy I've ever seen. But yeah, so he's down there. The engine's over revving so fast that the belt starts smoking. And it goes on for like a minute. Normally like crash videos are like Sean's, it's like, oh no, boom, it's over. This one was like sustained 1 minute, laying face down.
That's it.
Yeah, you need to see the smoke and just start.
It smokes his belt right off. Like he reaches back and finally pulls a spark plug. Man, that was one of the crazier videos I've ever seen. No injuries, nothing.
It's like a new video that's been recent, or has it been
2 weeks
Last week,
2 weeks old.
Yeah,
2 weeks old? Where is it, on YouTube or Facebook or what?
I'll send it to you. You want to pull it up now?
Yeah, let's go and pull it up now and take a look. I mean, this is,
Type in paramotor crash 480p.
So one of the things we do here, we've got reserves that we throw with, that we fly with. We practice throwing them in the simulator, but I've seen too many of those throttle cables go through the gap in the netting and the frame. So we also fly with flotation devices, but we rarely, if ever, fly over water. They're basically to stop that gap so that throttle cable doesn't get through.
That's actually a pretty interesting thing. And I noticed that a lot of instructors, a lot of schools, they say don't, have a student without a reserve. And what is your take on that?
I think we have to teach them how to use a reserve. And we do. We've had one student who's had to throw after class. No one's thrown it during class, but of the over 500 guys that I've trained, one student doing wing overs, they just got bigger and bigger. This was over Galveston and ended up upside down inside the wing, really getting gift wrapped. And he came the next day to thank us for the training, throwing the reserve over and over again from the simulator. So, yeah, I know some instructors are afraid the students might throw them if they get into bumpy air, but I think with proper training, it's essential.
Okay.
So if I may comment on what Ron said, I would have told Ron, I would have been like, a year ago, I'd have been like, no, man, they got to have reserves. I just recently changed that because one of the most talented people I've ever taught, he's flying around. He pulled his in flight, and luckily he pulled it and realized what he did and stuck it in his lap and came down and landed.
How
But
did
like,
How did he pull it?
Yeah.
he's trying to get into his seat.
Okay.
So he just reached down and he felt like a handle and he was like, oh, this feels good enough, right? And he pulls it, and when he pulls it and he's like, shit. And he didn't quite realize how, like, when he landed, I was freaking out because I packed the reserve, right? I was like, dude, did that shit like open up? And he's like, no. He's like, I pulled the thing. And he didn't realize how, like, because he's flying around at 100 feet just doing touch and goes. If that thing would have opened up at 50 feet, it would have locked out against his main glider. He would have,
Yeah.
I think people's first flights, they shouldn't have them. And once they're comfortable, then you can add the reserve.
Respectfully disagree.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I always fly with a reserve. Of the 500 plus students who I've taught on a reserve, none of them has accidentally even gotten close to deploying. So,
Really?
yeah.
See, I was the same thing until literally last September. And
I get it.
I switched, man. I switched on my whole thing that I'd done for like 13 years. Can't believe I'm saying this now, man. If myself 2 years would have been like, Andrew, you're a dumbass, So it's
Here's the thing, and I'm not sure I could live with myself if one of my students that I taught, I didn't teach them how to fly a reserve, throw a reserve, and didn't impress on them the importance of it. So in this one case, I mean, 27-year-old kid is still alive because he learned how to throw a reserve in training. For me, that's what it's all about.
Oh, so the guy that threw in yours, that was after training, right?
Oh, yes. This is long after training. No one gets close to throwing one in training.
Yeah, I just meant for their first like 10 flights, I don't put the reserve on anymore just because I want them to be like one less thing to worry about, one less thing for them to pull. And then after that I add it. Yeah.
I get it. We just do it from day one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think that's good too. I think this one experience and how good this guy was, it literally changed shit, And I've had that happen before where like we do stuff a certain way and then somebody does something different. Somebody does something like kind of unexpected and we kind of switch the whole thing up. So like David Wolf's responsible for that in our SIVs. Most SIVs you do energy management before you do the full stalls. And he cranked way too hard and kind of did what Sean did, and he let up and the thing shot and he missed the glider. And had he been at 50 feet, he would have hit the ground without even being under the weight of the canopy. But when that happened, I was like, nope, we're gonna do full stalls and negative spins and all that stuff first before we go to the energy management just from one dude. So yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I might change in a couple of years because I never would have changed that, man, up until like September. And then I'm
not
like,
saying you're wrong either. I'm just saying that, and I think we both agree that over time, best practices change.
yeah.
Very
Let's watch this guy burn up his belt.
All right.
Yeah. And while we're doing this, everyone in the super chat, let us know when you got training, did you get training with the reserve on your motor or did you wait until after you got your own rig to have a reserve on your rig? Let us know in the super chat as we get this spooled up to unspool. Ready,
All right,
Wheel?
so sound or no sound?
Sound for sure. It
Well, for
adds to
copyright.
it adds to the intensity of how crazy this shit is.
We have
It's
the
definitely
smell
better,
vision,
but-
so we can smell the
Yeah.
You can almost smell the oil from the video.
Wow. All right. Time to smell some oil, guys.
All right, and I've got I'm not going to be able to see the chat, so someone else is going to have to.
Here, full screen that. Yeah.
All right, and the other thing is, notice the guy that comes up afterwards. That's what stuck out.
He's the best. He's the best part. It's a total meme. Hey, get that sound going.
Oh shit. Let's see.
You don't need it yet, but yeah, here we go. There's the belt smoking.
Gotta adjust the camera.
Geht das? Alles okay? Camera's okay.
Damn.
Camera's okay. Is that what he said? The camera's okay?
That's
No,
what it sounded like. The camera's okay.
He goes, ¿Qué estás? All is okay. Like
Oh my
Okay.
God. The camera.
while he
Good Lord.
while he casually puts his hand on the outside of the frame.
Yeah.
While yeah, man. And
Oh, geez.
I've always been really cautious about my throttle cables going through and getting to my prop. I got extra zip ties, I got a Velcro. I saw that video, bro, and I literally walked right over to my paramotor and started electrical taping my throttle on it. Like, maybe I'll put a fifth backup. You know, because that would suck.
That was
We'll come up to you and say, K-Tal, if something happens to you. Hey, K-Tal.
that
No
is.
kidding.
Linda, you still have your glasses on.
I had them off earlier, but you weren't paying attention, so I put
Oh.
them back on.
I'm sorry. Hey, Andrew, we're doing a thumbnail for the
Got
show.
your famous thumbnail, so you can be famous next Monday when I put you in the stories on Facebook.
Linda, you want
Here I am.
Southwest.
you won't need to do anything with your hair. You can use it as a reserve. Grow your hair out. Suck less. Yeah, okay.
That's funny.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep. It's a good one.
Less.
Cool. Cool.
7.
We have negatives too.
Yeah.
We do. Put up a
That's funny.
Hey, so here's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does everybody think about Hamas infiltrating undetected 6 miles into Israel and shooting up a bunch of people at a concert at 7 o'clock in the morning on paramotors?
I was bummed about that. I was bummed to see any negativity surrounding our sport. You know what I mean?
I know. I was like, really? They get their debut with these assholes?
Yep. And that was some worldwide attention there, you know.
I'll tell you what, I don't have trouble explaining to people what paramotors are anymore.
No, I got a
That's
call.
true.
I got a call from my airport manager asking how many Palestinians I've trained.
Who just wants to land? What was it? They just want to learn how to land that 911.
Dude, yeah, dude. I actually had a good number of like it actually hasn't happened in like 2 years, but like from 5 years ago to like 3 years ago, I had a decent amount of Mexicans calling me up asking me about like how much weight can they carry and stuff, and I'm like,
What?
you know, this doesn't sound right, you know.
How
And I'm
many
just like,
how many kilos?
yeah, just like,
Kilogram.
yeah, can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm just like, you know, I'm first starting out on business, and I'm like, man, I'm not selling to these guys.
Now, you know, right after that, had some guys cruise through here who said they were from Saudi Arabia. They wanted to learn how to fly so they could go home and teach their military.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Dang. Just never know.
Yeah.
I guess if it smells fishy, you know, you just go the other way. Wow.
There is a video online of a guy who is talking about how he used a paramotor to fly through Colombia. I don't know how accurate or real it is, but he was talking about actually using the paramotor for drugs, like distributing them.
Well, they've actually done it over the border. More with PPCs because they can carry more weight and they're easier to fly. But
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, like anything, right? I mean, somebody can take something as benign as a steak knife and stab somebody. You know, as common as a car, make a car bomb. You know, an airplane that we use for commuting and run into a tower. Anybody can take something as nice that helps a lot of people, or a good sport like paramotoring, and just destroy it by doing something stupid. So. Um, I've had, unfortunately, people ask after the Hamas thing. They actually commented in one of my videos, "Are you Hamas?" I mean, really? Why would you? The things that people say are just ridiculous half the time. And also too, and why people don't post videos like I post, like I posted, and other people posted, because you do get blasted. You get blasted by people you don't know, and they tell you things that would make you cry. It's like, oh, I'm getting out of the sport because this guy said something. Yeah, I'm not going to get out of the sport. I put this up there to help somebody learn from my mistake and go, well, shoot, I better not do that anymore. I could stall my wing and do something, and hurt myself. Hey, in the super chat, did we hear about anybody that got training with reserves or without reserves? Did anybody say anything about that while we're doing our spinning wheel?
I didn't train with the reserve.
You did not?
I did not either.
I did
But
not either.
I also used my own equipment, so and I didn't have a reserve. I don't know if my instructor put reserves on his equipment.
Mhm.
I don't think he does.
My instructor won't let me train with a reserve.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
It's like Andrew says, it's risky. Don't want somebody to accidentally pull it.
I know. Ron is
just on the first few.
Right.
Once the guy's gone up and stuff, and you're like, okay, usually on their first flights they're not flying very high anyways, But yeah, it's like I said, it's something new, man. The one guy changed it for me. So
Andrew, how many flights, you might have already answered this, and I've watched several of your videos on YouTube, but how many flights would you recommend before someone comes to an SIV course or PPG 2, 3, or just anytime?
it's more about your like confidence level and like your like kind of like your ability. So you just don't want to show up to the course and not know how to hook in. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to show up and be nervous about your 30th forward launch when you're about to go up and do that other stuff. Now there's some people I've had people come out. I had this couple come out, they had 12 flights each. They literally came straight from training. They went and trained with Team Fly Halo. And then like the next week they came out and did it, and they did the whole course and they were fine. But I know the instructor for Team Fly Halo, he called me up and he goes, I know they only got 12 flights, man, but I'm telling you, they're dialed. And I was like, all right, and they were. And then you've had people come out, they've been flying for 5 years, and they still can't hook up their equipment right and all that stuff. And it's not that we can't do it, it's just that you want to be dealing with one thing at a time. Like you don't want to be worried about your landing when you're getting towed up to do stalls and stuff. You want to be worried about your tow, not your landing, right? So yeah, and I'd say 50 hours or a year, you should go take your first one. And then you can decide, like, you go get it, you're done, bro. It's like graduating college, like you're out. You'll carry that stuff with you forever. And then if you're like, man, I want to get real aggressive, or I want to get into acro and stuff like that, then you come back and you take another one. But your second SIV isn't the same as the first. Your second SIV is, okay, yeah, you already went through. Okay, we're gonna just pick up right where you left off, which the only thing left after that is actually acrobatics. So But yeah, a year,
Yeah.
50 hours, or when you're competent.
Gotcha.
And this is what I think too, because when we went there, depending on the wind, you might just be doing a forward inflation. Sometimes going over there, you got a lot of wind and you're gonna have to hold a reverse inflation and turn at the correct time as the boat starts going. So you're gonna have to hold reverses and hold that forward inflation, waiting for that boat to go forward. If your kiting is dialed in, you should be able to do it 100%.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Greg Laney said that he wishes Bad Apples would have a course on repacking the reserve, or if it's a liability concern, at least have a conversation of where to go.
I wouldn't. Ah, man, I have to think about it. I would do it. So an SIV is like, let's say you come out, it's a 3-day course, right? If you come out and the second day the wind sucks or it's raining and stuff, I'll teach you how to pack reserves, because we're not just going to sit around and talk about how great flying would have been. So we just repack reserves all day. That way you at least accomplish stuff. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I think a lot of people that do repacks professionally wouldn't like it, but like, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, because people's reserves fall out before they fly sometimes, or like they do their pre-flight, they notice the rubber bands are busted and stuff, and they're like, oh shit, dude, what do I do? And it's like, then you got to pack that thing up, you got to send it to me, you got to wait a week, and then you get it back. Or you could just sit there and know it and be like, dude, I know exactly what to do. And but yeah, I think if to do like just a repack course, it would be a little longer than probably something you'd want to pull off at Bad Apples. Like you wouldn't just want to go in there for like 3 hours and repack a couple reserves, because there's a lot of things that you can do wrong. Yeah, I don't think that's the worst idea in the world. If a bunch of people want it, then I guess I could do it. So, and it also depends on your wing, right? There's like 50 different reserves out there, and they all have their own manual. So
Yeah, we had a repack demonstration done at one of our fly-ins and really enjoyed it, but at the same time it was like, yeah, I'll just leave that to the professionals. It's like, I'm not gonna worry about trying to do it myself.
yeah, I think it's something. It's not bad to know it all. I think you should send your stuff to be repacked out, but I think it would be nice if people knew a little bit more about how to like actually put their stuff in their own containers and how to route stuff. Because I have people come over all the time for reserves, and I give them their reserve back, and they're like, dude, I don't know how to put it in the bag. I don't know how to put the bag on the frame. I don't know how to route the bridles up here. And then I've gotten reserves from people where I'm just like, oh shit, man, I'm glad you sent this to me. Like this could have been bad if it opened up, or if you tried to throw this guy, it wouldn't have opened, just from like the way something's routed, the way something's tied off. So
you recommend everyone sending their reserve off to get packed instead of packing themselves, and suck less?
I mean, if your buddy's a skydiving rigger, and he's like, yeah, dude, we'll come over there and grab the manual and do that. That's fine. Yeah, I don't think what I don't think you should do is get internet videos and learn that way. Like if you're gonna learn, have somebody actually physically show you what to do, and then have them actually physically show you what not to do, because that's just as important. Because there's certain things you can do on a reserve where if you make a certain mistake, it won't open. So it won't open. You throw it out and it'll just be a bag locked in. So it's just as important to learn the don't do's as it is the do's.
Right. And also too, since I have that front mount regalo, that's definitely different than like a square or round, correct?
Yeah. See, that one I wouldn't even teach I wouldn't teach how to repack regalos class. Rounds, yeah. Squares, yeah. Regalos, yeah. Square steerables, no. We'd be there for 2 days, But rounds too, like rounds these days are almost as good as squares. Squares are still a little bit better, but rounds are really good now. They used to suck, now they're good.
So what's the difference? And what's the difference between a round and a square round? What are you doing?
Typically your squares have a little bit slower descent rate, and they don't oscillate as more. But like I said, they're similar. It used to be like 10 years ago, if you had a round, you were coming down under an oscillation, which is bad because if you hit the ground on the swing, you're going a lot faster than you want. But the short answer is squares are better, but they're
Square?
not. Squares are better than rounds, but it's not by the same margin that they used to be.
Okay.
And then if your reserve's over 10 years old, throw it out. Get get a new one. If it's a round, it's just a material thing. Even though they don't get used, when they sit on the shelves, they start to go bad. And also, if your reserve's 10 years old and it's a round, it probably sucks.
Yeah.
If it's 5 years old and it's a round, it's probably really good.
Well, also, since you're talking about that, how about an actual wing that we fly? 10 years, we throw it out or what?
Not if it's an APCO. APCOs are practically indestructible. Yeah, what you need, like APCO canopies will last. I've never inspected one that was like under 1,000 seconds on the porosity meter.
Yeah, what I sent you, right? I mean, I flew that one for a long time. It went through a lot of stuff, and you said the porosity looks like it was brand new.
Yeah, dude, I've gotten APCOs in where I've been like, don't fly this wing. And they're like, why not? Did it fail? And I'm like, no, it passed everything. It's just 20 years old, dude. Now lines are different. Like you'll go through, you could go through however many line sets you want on an APCO. But the material in the APCO is not going to wear out. The actual canopy is not going to wear out. So.
Wendy, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Ann.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, Wendy the Explorer was asking, she says, is there a different size reserve for trikes versus foot launch? Now I'm questioning if I have the correct reserve on my tandem trike with the extra seat weight and extra passenger weight. Any input?
Yeah, so I'm only 170 pounds. I fly 160 kg reserve. If they made a 180, I'd fly that, but they don't. They go from like 160 up to 220. Bigger is better. Bigger is the difference between coming
behind you.
Yeah.
You see a
duck sneaking up on you, man.
Oh yeah, that's Benjamin.
Oh, okay,
Benjamin.
okay.
Yeah. Benji. Yeah. Bigger's better though, man. Like if you're at the low end of the weight range, you can come down at like 3.8 meters a second. If you're on the high end, you can come down at 5.5 meters a second. That's a huge difference,
So basically she needs to know her all up weight and then make sure that she's within range.
Yeah. Here's my boy.
What's up, man?
I gotta get him out. He'll make too much noise.
Wow.
Benjamin.
All right.
What
So
did I just see? What was
yeah.
that?
That's my duck.
Your duck? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got 5 ducks, 5 chickens, 1 pig, and 3 dogs, and 3 peacocks.
All right, I'm coming over. I'm moving in.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting place. But so yeah, you'll need. I would say if you got a trike, I would say get a tandem reserve. Like if you got like a big trike, if you got a small trike and you're little, you can get away with a 160. But did she say it was a tandem too?
Yes, because she was talking about the extra seat and passenger weight.
Oh yeah, I would get the biggest reserve you can get your hands on, probably 220 kg or like 240 kg. Don't go steerable. That one just go as big as possible. It doesn't matter if it's round or square. Just big ass reserve. Cause that it's the other path. It's one thing if you come down a little bit too fast into your reserve and you hurt yourself, right? It's another thing if you come down too fast under your reserve and you hurt your passenger, So I would go just as big as possible.
Bigger is going to take longer to deploy, isn't it? So that
on a very small scale though, like something that I've never noticed it in SIVs, where I've been like, whoa, did you see how fast that small one opened? It doesn't, and usually from the configurations that you throw them in, it doesn't really matter. Like if you're negative like you're in a stall and you throw, a small one's going to open faster. Then you can notice it, right? But most of the time you're in like your stuff's twisted, or you're like in like a positive maneuver, you know, where you actually have G forces. And when you're actually moving forward and you throw, they pretty much deploy at the same speed. It might take longer for the bigger one to open, but it's already halfway open and creating as much resistance as the smaller one is when it's fully open.
I think
So
they rated for 200 feet, I think, for reserves.
man, I posted a video on it on like just somebody throwing it like maybe 100 feet and it opened no problem.
And I know someone that personally was throwing one from 75 and he's still around, but I guess the point is they're rated for 200 feet.
Yeah.
If they're the correct size, right?
Yeah, like if you're flying straight and level, right? And I think this is how Sean threw his at SIV. He's flying. If you throw the reserve's gonna so here's the pilot. Here's the pilot. You throw the reserve, it's gonna come out, deploy, and the only altitude you're gonna lose is the pilot swinging under the reserve.
But
Like
that's going forward though. If
that's for when
So-
you're if you're in a tail slide or a full stall or like some messed up tail slide riser twist shit, and then you throw your reserve, I don't know how long it's going to take because it's different for everybody. Sometimes people throw them really good and they get a really good open. Sometimes people get a crap throw and it doesn't open. It just sits there and they have to pull it back in and rethrow it. And in that case, it could take 1,000 feet. But if you get a really good throw in, it could take 50 feet.
Well, how about me? Like when I stalled out, I was at 0 miles an hour. If I threw, how long would that have to? How much altitude would I have to lose for that thing to actually open up? Especially when I was still underneath the canopy. Do you think that would even have been worth it?
You didn't have any forward speed, so it wouldn't have opened. But let's say you threw that thing like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? And it popped out and opened. What would have happened is it would have opened, and then your main glider probably would have shot forward, and they would have both locked out against each other, and you would have smashed in it like harder, a lot harder. Because there's this guy Joe Digg, and he has a video of him taking off on his Scout, and he goes to get into his seat, and he pulls his reserve on accident, and he's at 50 feet. And the reserve, he doesn't even know he pulled the reserve. He's flying, and all of a sudden it's like he's slowing down. The main wing comes out in front of him here. The reserve is here, and he hits the ground, breaks his back, and he hit the ground like fast. So like if your reserve would have came out, that would have been worse because it would have locked out against your main glider. I think that would have been a lot worse if it came out.
Okay.
So that's a situation where it's too low. But like there's videos of guys out there that have been fighting their shit like all the way down for 500 feet, and then finally they throw it 50 feet and the thing opens, right?
Because it had speed behind them, not just.
Yeah, they were coming down. So and it's the throw that really counts. That's why it's cool that Ron has a simulator and he practices the throws, because like when a reserve doesn't deploy, it's because they didn't throw it properly.
Well,
They didn't throw it. People try and throw it fast. It's not about fast. Fast is good. It's far.
yeah.
You want to throw it like I tell people, like, imagine you got this girl and she left her purse in your house and you can't stand it. You're just trying to get this purse as far away. Like, take your purse and get out of here. That's how you want to throw a reserve. Like
Yeah.
you want to throw that shit as far as possible.
Yeah.
And like up and out, not down.
Yeah, this one guy that threw it after class, he ended up getting gift wrapped. Never done wing overs, just got bigger and bigger, ended up upside down getting gift wrapped. And he said he remembered in the training that we said to find clean air. So he found one of the seams along the cell and kept working it until he could get the reserve out into clean air.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Does he have a video?
He does not. Yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But he said he pulled it out. He's ready to throw it, and then he remembered, I need clean air. Throw's more important. So felt along a seam till he till he could get it out there where he needed to.
He must have been up high enough to be able to do something.
He was,
like that.
I think it was 2,000 to 3,000 feet.
That's a good altitude.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, that advice saved his life, bro. Because he would have thrown that shit.
I know.
If he would have thrown it before that clean air, he wouldn't have been able to get it back in. You know.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff, man.
It's very humbling, this sport. It can definitely humble you really, really quick. And sometimes, you can get away with something, 5 times, 100 times, and then that one time, it just doesn't work out for you. And it's very humbling, this sport. Definitely recommend.
It's like having unsafe sex, man. You'll get away with it for years, right?
Until you don't.
Until you
Right. Yep. We call those people parents. You know.
Exactly right.
Parents.
Shout out to all my children I don't know.
Hi, Mom.
All right, now we're gonna talk birth control here. Okay, guys? Let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you. No, not gonna go there. This is we're gonna keep it PG,
It's like motorcycle guys, man. Nobody pays attention on the road more than a guy riding a motorcycle. They still go down off their own mistakes all the time, It's a thing. Like with time, we're all gonna make mistakes.
That's
Yeah.
one thing we don't talk a lot about, and that's what happens when your reserve doesn't deploy, when it doesn't work, when it doesn't open. I mean, that's not something that I don't know if we've ever talked about it on the show.
I don't think we have. This is really interesting. I'm learning a lot tonight, especially when you start talking about reserves. There's a lot more to it than just, I'd look at it as just, just a parachute, just pull on the string and, and then you float down, but that's not how it works.
And reserves are not get out of jail free. Just like Andy said, you're coming down at 5.5 meters a second, which in feet is what, 14 feet a second? That's like jumping off a house.
It's like jumping off. It's like jumping off a 12-foot roof, dude.
Yeah.
Or like jumping off the top of your truck. It's nobody's ever, out of all the reserve throws I've ever seen, nobody's ever landed and been like, man, that was slower than what I thought it was going to be.
That was fun. Let's do it again.
Every single one of them was like, dude, that was more than I expected. Babe.
Yeah, and when you go down over at Andy's SIV class, you're going down in water, and you just it's amazing how far you go underneath the water before you come back up, and that's how hard you would have hit the dirt with your motor. I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Hey,
Will,
Wow.
what do you do if your reserve doesn't open?
That's why I brought it up. What
Go
do you
splat?
You
Huh?
get comfortable with what's gonna happen.
Go splat?
No, well, I mean, the reason I'm thinking about it is because that's not something that I've ever even thought of. I mean, I've pretty much thought, okay, well, I want to throw the reserve and hope it opens, but they don't always open. I mean, that
What?
might be that one, whatever the percentage is. I don't know what it is.
Hey, Will, what's the highest you've been? Altitude wise.
I don't know, 6,000 feet, maybe a little over 6,000 feet.
You didn't think about it then?
I don't think it's going to make much of a difference between 6,000 and 3,000. I mean, unless something goes
I don't
wrong.
know.
But
When
what
I
do you
get
do?
up to up past 10,000 or go up to 12 or whatever, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm like, no, I really should not be thinking about falling right now.
Well, here's the thing. If you go up to 12,000 feet for safety, the altitude is, obviously a lot higher. So your air density is a lot less, and it actually makes your glider react differently.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to come around?
Yeah, you'll get into some trouble at 12,000 feet that you didn't know existed because your glider is basically a size and a half smaller or 2 sizes smaller than it was at 1,000 feet.
Yeah. I
So-
can't imagine what goes through your mind if you go to throw your reserve and it doesn't work. I guess ultimately what goes through your mind is your shoes.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. Well, the reason that I started thinking about it was because Andrew, when you said, you throw it out and it doesn't open and then you got to pull it back in and whatever. Well, I didn't think about that part.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there a technique or a certain, I don't know, you just grab all the lines?
Here's a good one. Here's a good thing of advice. So if you're doing a sat, and it might not be because you're doing a sat intentionally, it might be because you take a massive asymmetric deflation on a dive and it cravats and then it goes into a sat, right? So you're sitting here doing your thing and you're like, and it shoots, right? And when it shoots, this side tucks in and then you're just in a sat. And then a lot of times when you throw in a sat, because in a spiral, the pilot is moving around the glider, right? And the point of rotation is above the glider. In a sat, the glider is moving, the point of rotation is halfway between the pilot and the glider. So you'll throw it out and the glider will just come in and it'll just hit the reserve and grab, and then it'll just stuff it on the glider, right?
Way too many of those videos.
So what I found out, all on my own, actually, I'm pretty proud of this one. Is Adam still on? I'd like to hear his thoughts on it. I tell people when that happens, grab your brakes and just stall the wing. Because you'll start pulling brakes and you'll slow that glider down. And when you slow that glider down, the reserve slips through or slips off the front side. But when it's in a full-blown sat, it's traveling as fast as it can, and it's going to keep that glider, it's going to keep the reserve pressurized on the glider. But if you slow the glider down, it can like fold through and slip out this way, or the glider will slow down enough to where it can catch some wind and deploy. Because that's a lot faster than pulling the reserve back in and then trying to throw it back out.
I didn't even know that was an option. You know, pulling the glider back in or the reserve back in. I mean, that's...
Yeah, if you're in a sat and you throw it and it hits the wing, stop the glider. Just stuff the brakes and stop the glider, and then it'll slip out that way. If you throw it out, what'll happen a lot of times when they don't deploy is they're in like a twisted up tail slide, right? They're coming down, so they're not coming down that fast, and they do this little dinky throw where you see them reach down and they go, and they just toss it, and the reserve's like right here, and it's not out far enough. You got to throw it far enough to where the lines go tight. Once the line goes tight, it pops the rubber band and it deploys. But if you just throw it, and that's the other thing, everybody says throw it down. Well, it doesn't deploy when it's down like this, right? It's got to come up here to actually deploy. So you throw it sideways so that it catches and then it comes up. If we were all like super strong, you know, like if you were like, yeah, I'm a bodybuilder, bro. I would be like, dude, just throw it up. You know, throw it at like this angle. Because when you throw it down, it's got to open like this off of wind speed, and then before it works, you got to come all the way down below the wing. So if you throw it out like this and it opens here, then you only got to come here, and you can actually deploy it with losing a lot less altitude.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
why I use my right. That's why I want my strong arm to be my reserve arm. You know, and that's why I use the left throttle, because that's the only. I'm not as strong with this arm, or is whatever agile or whatever. I'm not as coordinated as I am with this arm. Huh?
Coordinated.
Yeah.
That's why
I'm coordinated as it is. So I mean, I'm going to stack the deck in my favor as much as possible, right? But there was this one video. I don't know if you've seen it, Sean, but it was nothing but talking about and practicing throwing reserves, and they were in this centrifuge, or this thing that just spins around and around, and then they would practice throwing the reserve, and whether the whole idea was to teach them how to do it, but then they got judged on the type of job they did, whether it was good or bad or how they can improve. I must have seen this a couple of years ago, but I know it's on YouTube. That's all I can tell you. It was kind of interesting. And they said the same thing, Andrew. They said you throw it out, you know, like that instead of any other way. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, here's your reserve. When you pull it out of the bag, it's hanging from this handle. So it's hard to throw this. Like, you can't just violently throw it out because it'll deploy in your face, right? Or like it takes like some motion, right? So the way I do it is I pull it out like this, right? And then it's here, and then I come back with my arm and I throw it out like this. I don't do this number. I don't pull this thing across my chest with all this shit hanging and then try and throw it out. I just pull it out and I wait to feel the weight of the reserve, and then I toss it as far as I can. And what you're going for to make it deploy is you just got this one little, you got this one rubber band right here. And if you don't throw it enough to pull this out, it's not coming. And then you have to pull it back in. So I say take the extra, if you got the altitude, man, like if you're at 70 feet, then whatever, right? But if you got the altitude, take the extra second and be like, I got one good throw, rather than getting a shitty throw and fighting it for 500 feet.
That's good
Interesting.
stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, this is very interesting, and I learned something that is really awesome, awesome and interesting enough that I want Ron to explain this in just a moment here. If you have a cravat in your wing, you can pull the stabilo line, and it will just undo. Can you explain how that works, Ron?
Yeah, well,
Because that was awesome. I didn't even know about that.
yeah. I had to demonstrate it once to a class of students, just took off. And as I was taxiing, I looked over and noticed I've got a cravat, but it's a teachable moment. And got up in the air and just yanking on the stabilo line will slide it right off.
It was interesting too when we started doing some kiting. Is one of my reverses came up with the cravat. I'm like, oh, this is a good teaching moment, right? So I grabbed the stabilo line and yanked it, and it came out just like that. So very curious. Super chat panel. Have you ever heard of that before? And if you have you ever used that before with the stabilo line? Very interesting. The things we learn on Monday nights on these podcasts is just amazing.
Yeah, I usually try to rip out the cravat with the brake line first. Like I throw one hard one like down, like quick though, because you don't want to like hold it because then you'll start turning and stuff, right? I just give it a rip and I look at it and I give it another rip. And if that doesn't work, then I'm like, all right, pop the brake up and kind of come in and, because I don't like taking my hands off the brakes.
Yeah. What's up, Shane's Planet Shane?
Any other questions in the super chat? Any questions on the panel? Anything that we need to discuss? It's almost 9 o'clock. This has been a really awesome podcast. Lots of information. Hopefully someone that's listening to this either now live or in the future, as we do put it out there on audio only, and all you have to do is search for PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. If you just search for Paramotor Podcast, we come up, we're everywhere. Hopefully this is a teachable moment where someone's going to go, wow, I did not know that. And the cravat thing with the stabilo line, that was like, wow, why is that in my mind now? That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Walter wants to
that's-
know.
Oh, go ahead. No, Kevin.
Walter wants to know which one the stabilo line is.
Yeah, it's usually on the B riser. It's the outermost line on the B riser, and it doesn't go to the leading edge or the trailing edge. It goes right along the wingtip itself. Usually it's different colored, and in many of them it's green, but it's the odd looking line. If you lay your wing out, look at the B risers, look at the outside line, and follow it up to the wingtip itself.
Is that also considered the tip steering line?
No, that's different. Tip steering line goes to the tip, but to the trailing edge of the wing. And the split A's go to the tip, but to the leading edge of the wing, and the stabilo goes right along the edge of the wing itself.
So
Typically you got your 2 A lines to one riser, then you have your third A line to another one, right? Then behind that you have your B's, and there's usually 4 of them. Your fourth one is going to be your stabilo, the one all the way to the wingtip that's attached to like 6 other different lines. Like most main lines are attached to like 3 lines or 2 lines.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And then this one's it's attached to like 6, like the whole entire like corner of it, and that's just stabilo. It's also your big gear line. So actually, no, it's not your big deal. I want to talk about that's outside A's. No, it's it's your most outer B line basically, and usually it's a different color.
It can also be used for steering in an emergency.
right. So if there is a cravat, don't grab your tip steering line and try to do that. there is an actual stability line that we need to pull.
So an A-wing or just a couple more things. Craig B just was asking, did the thought cross your mind about throwing the reserve?
I had, if you watch the video, by the time that I was turning and I felt no brake pressure, it was like 1 second. No brake pressure, I'm down 1 second, I'm on the ground. So it's like there was just zero time to even think about throwing a reserve. The only thing I was trying to do is feel the brake pressure, and then I caught that back fly. And luckily, I think that saved my life. It saved my back. It saved broken bones. It saved a lot of things. I think a lot of it was just more luck than anything, and just pilot error, going up and stalling the wing like I did. Hopefully, like I said, that this podcast and talking about different ways of stalling wings and getting yourself into trouble, and looking out there too, talking with your instructors, talking with other people that this has happened to, or things that do happen, talk to them. And the most important thing, I believe, is to get up with an SIV instructor and go up there and try to figure out what lines do what in what situation when you are flying.
Yeah. Last question here. I see, who was it? Oh, City Fly was saying, would an A-wing or low B act differently?
That's a really good question, because I asked the questions to many people. Andrew, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, you could have done that. You could have done that on an A-wing, for sure. It's energy management. You know, it's like, it's kind of like what you did was basically spinning out in a car. You know how you can take a car around a corner at a certain speed, and after a certain speed, you lose the back tires? Well, you can do that in a truck, and you can do it in a Ferrari. Either way, you can give it too much gas or too much turn and spin out the back. So you can do it on every wing. It's just a matter of like, at what point does it do it?
And maybe they're thinking too, is like, if I was on an A wing, would that been able to recover instead of me coming down like I did on a C wing, or maybe a
Yeah.
little bit? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so
Recover.
I'd say if it was an A wing, you would have had a chance. You were at just enough altitude, and this is like by like 8 feet, right? To take it to take the reinflation. You had enough altitude to take it, check it, you know, so it doesn't fully go down, but check it and swing out on an A wing, I think. But you would have been gambling because you were low. You know, like that was low. You had to, like, I think the safest thing to do is what you did. But yeah, that can happen. That could have happened on either wing. But if it's a non-reflex ENA free flight wing, first off, you shouldn't be paramotoring that, because you're going to be the slowest person in the sky. I know it's super safe, but it's also going to be so slow, it's so boring. So it's not really ideal that somebody's going to be caught in that situation. But being that you were on a reflex wing, I think it was good you did what you did.
I know a lot of people are probably asking too, especially if they're really young in this sport or they don't know about the sport. What's the difference between a reflex wing and a non-reflex wing? Because there's a lot of people out there that talk about what's good and what's bad, what's safe and what's not safe. What's your take on that?
I think in the sport of paramotoring, you got to have a reflex wing. Yeah, unless you're doing paramotor acrobatics, like legit acrobatics, or you're taking your first couple flights, then you want to be on like a conventional non-reflex wing. But if you want to actually like fly around and get where you're trying to go, hang with your buddies, you pretty much need a reflex wing. They're more stable and they're less likely to take a collapse. But when they do take a collapse, they take a bigger collapse.
Which one are you talking about?
Reflex. Reflex is more stable. It actually takes a little bit less skill to fly reflex, and they're harder to deflate. The problem is that when they do deflate, they reopen more harshly. Whereas conventional wings are slower, they're safer, they're easier to get to deflate, but when they deflate, they pretty much automatically reopen without pilot input. But basically, like a normal wing is kind of shaped like this, and a reflex wing is shaped where the back kind of comes up a little bit. Not a lot, but it comes up a little bit. And then when you go into reflex mode, it really kind of flattens that out and just changes the whole angle of attack.
So if you have your trims all the way in on a reflex, does that mean that you're kind of flying a non-reflex? And when does it
No.
actually go from a reflex wing trims wise to like full reflex, like you just said? What's the difference?
I kind of look at it as like you got hard tops and you got convertibles, right? Just because the convertible top is up, it's still a convertible. Just like when you got a reflex, just because it's trimmed all the way in, it's still a reflex. And the reason I say that is because I've noticed on the reflex wings that I've stalled, they all have this tendency to shoot out really hard. And they don't like to tail slide. And that's because on a reflex wing, the entire leading edge is accelerated. So when you take a deflation over here and you're on a reflex wing, like the whole wing is fast as can be, right? When you take this side away, this side's still fast and it's going, right? On a conventional wing, the thing's slow. It's not really accelerated by the A's. It's the lines are more dispersed evenly amongst the glider. So when you take this side away, this side is slow. It's still going to move, but it's not like a reflex wing. So I guess in short, you'd say you can't have both. Now you can have them close on asymmetrics and frontals, but for some reason on the stall, everything changes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's not to say that like a reflex wing trimmed in can be just as safe as a conventional wing, unless you stall it. And then once you stall it, it's a different world, you know.
Interesting.
Kind of like on a convertible on a hard top. If you
Right.
roll it, you want to be in the hard top, right? It doesn't matter if the top's up.
Gotcha. Anybody else have any questions in the super chat or on the panel? Andrew Fuller is full of information tonight. Obviously, if you have a question, please ask. It's 9 o'clock now, so we're going to wrap this thing up here in just a moment. So any questions in the super chat, any questions on the panel, please say so now or forever hold your peace until you go over and see Fuller at his SIV clinic.
Yeah, this was great. I appreciate all your knowledge. And I think, Sean, I'm really proud of you that you did this, you know, that you chose to have the show and to show people, because I know it had to have been really hard for you, because a lot of it too, it's like your pride, you know, because you're like, oh man, I'm an instructor and this doesn't happen to instructors, you know, what the heck's going on? And I'm hoping that this helps you heal mentally too, and bring you some closure that, you know, things happen and that, you know, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So
Very nicely put, Linda.
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I care about you and we're family here. And that's why we're all here tonight. And I thank you, chatters, too. It means a lot to me and to Sean that you know, that you all watch the show tonight. And I thank you, Ron and Andrew, for taking your time, precious time, to be on the show with us tonight and give your knowledge and, you know, share so much helpful information. I really, really appreciate you guys. I really do.
Yeah,
So
you guys rock. Thank you very much.
yes, yeah.
Tony
I know
was
I'm a little emotional. You know me. I care about you, and I care about you all. You know, and Sean, you're like family to me, and I'm just happy you're okay, and you're gonna heal through this, and we're all here for you. You know, we're here for you. You're gonna have
Oh,
good
dude,
bad
Sean,
days.
yeah, man, my phone went ballistic when you burned in, man.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because everybody knows we're buds too, man, and they just did boom. Like normally I get like when somebody has an accident and they post it, I get the videos and stuff. This one I was just like all day long, dude. Yeah, you see that? What happened, man? I'm just like, oh god, here we go. Like I might as well not even work that day, you know?
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
lucky too, because like when I saw it, and I was like, holy shit, because someone sent it to me right away, and I was like, I see it's like your face, and I'm like, no, you know? And then I called you and you picked up right away. So, we got to talk. And then when people call me, I'd be like, yep, I'm already talked to him. He's fine. This is what we figured out. But yeah, it was funny, man. People cared, man. They were blowing my shit up all day long.
Yeah. First
So-
person I sent the video to was to Robert, to my son. Like, look at his son. He was like, oh my gosh, and he talked a little bit about it on his show, about safety and all that, and with much respect, Robert wishes you the best. And yeah, like I said, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and thank you everyone that texted me to check in on me. I got messages, iMessages, I got Facebook messages, everything. My inboxes were definitely full. It took a couple of days to go through and clear those out. But thank you everyone that did check in on me. I definitely appreciate that. It was very, very heartwarming knowing that so many people do care. And when there is an accident like this, or an incident, it is nice to know that the community does, the community is there for you. This is a very small community. And it was like the military, in the military, everybody's green, everybody's there, they got your back. In the corporate world and in the world we live in, nobody has your back. But I tell you what, in this small niche, in the paramotor community, we all have each other's back, and I really appreciate it. We are all brothers
Right.
and sisters.
Yeah, we call it our Sky family, and
Definitely.
like any family, it's dysfunctional, but it's our family.
You call it
Yeah, right.
Sky family?
We call it
Why
our
do you think I jump on the show every Monday?
What's that?
What
Why do
did
you
you
think-
call that?
We call it our Sky family.
SKY.
family.
Sky
Yeah,
family.
when pilot takes his first flights, we've got a set of paramotor wings for them that we give them, and we welcome them to our Sky family.
Oh, that's cool.
Like any like any family, it's dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen that meme floating around where it's like somebody riding around on a dirt bike about to do something stupid, and the voice comes in and the voice says, "Remember, fellas, pretty girls are everywhere. Autistic retards are not. We are the prize." And whenever I see that pop up, I'm like, yeah, that's right.
That's funny.
It's
Have
funny.
you guys seen that? Have you seen that meme
I
yet?
haven't seen it. Mm-mm.
No, but
don't-
I bet you since we said it here on YouTube and we got our phones next to us, I'm sure that we're going to see a lot of those memes. It just,
Right, they're gonna start popping up. Yeah.
How funny.
Yeah, I've been searching through my footage of like me doing stupid shit to try and find like a video to like put with that little like voiceover. The question is which one of my dumb things do I make it with,
There you go.
How many years do you go without having any mishaps to all of a sudden you have a very big mishap? I really hope that if this ever happened to anybody, they've been in sport for a very long time, that they don't get out of the sport because of mishap like this. Just like if you fall off a horse, get back on that damn horse and go fly. Go fly a horse? No, go.
We got to fix your horse. though.
You got to fish. Well, the horse fly.
Horse fly.
It's a horse fly. But
Well, so like I remember it was 20, 17 or something, right? I was getting into acro, and there's this really, really great pilot named Cody Matank out in Utah. And it was right when I was starting to learn the helicopter, and I was like, yo, man, I just put a third reserve on my paraglider, right? Not even paramotor. And I'm like, I'm going to go up there and start practicing the helicopter at Point of the Mountain. You can only get about 1,200 feet above the ground. And dude, the way this guy, he goes, really, you're going to do that, huh? And I was like, well, yeah, what? Like just, he had this look of like concern on his face. And he goes, don't do that. And he saw my face change. And he's like, well, look, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But he goes, do you know about Point of the Mountain? I'm like, well, I'm here. And he goes, no. Do you know how many people have been injured off Point of the Mountain? And he runs through this list of paragliding gods that I had looked up to. They've all been hurt. Like he's like Nova Dalsa, he's 15 years before you guys got into the sport. Black dude too, right? Paragliding, black dude, bad. Tiger Woods a freaking paragliding, right? Broke his back at Point of the Mountain. Ganuscio almost did it. Chris Santa Croce did it. And he named off like 2 or 3 more pilots. They all they've all broken their back. Theo DeBlick did it, not at Point of the Mountain, somewhere else. Max Marion, one of the greatest pilots in the US, he did it, not at Point of the Mountain, somewhere else. And they're running through the list of all the top pilots that have all been, and I was just like, you know, maybe I don't really want to be a top pilot, you know? Like, that sounds kind of painful.
So you didn't do it.
No, I did not. No, dude, he looked at me. He had nothing to gain, nothing to lose from it, man. He looked at, like, if Cody Matank, he shut his SIV down a couple years ago. That was like, he was one of the best. But yeah, I mean, it just took that look, man, where he was like, he goes, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And I kind of looked at him and he saw my disappointment and he was like, let me just tell you about all the pilots that have hurt their fucking back trying to become good. And he listed off anybody I had ever looked up to. There was nobody on the list that I was like, well, you didn't name this guy, right? I was like, wait, he broke his back? He broke his back? The only person he didn't name was Max Marion. He broke his back a year later. Not even doing acro, just doing like the best pilot in the US. Not even doing acro, just getting a little, just normal free flight off a hill, off a cliff, and he took his hands off his brakes and he was too low and something happened. He pounded in, broke his back. And
He did exactly the equivalent of what Sean you did by putting your video out. You know what I mean? Getting the word out and not being afraid to show when things don't go just perfect, you know? I mean, the video that you put out may very well save someone's life, you know, just like how it probably saved your life that day. It sounds like, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I needed to hear. And that was exactly who I needed to hear it from. Because I'll be honest with you, if Santa Croce would have told me that same thing that same day, I would have looked at him like he was crazy. I'd be like, bro, you can't even helicopter. You know, like, but it was Cody Matank, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, and Santa Croce's broke his back out here. And I'm shit, you know, like I had to recalibrate everything. So he was just like, look, man, if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it. He goes, you gotta learn over water until you know you can stay out of the glider. I was like, what the fuck do you mean stay out of the wing? Like, I've never been near the wing like that, you know? And he goes, right, exactly, right. So once you get close to that wing, and then you figure out how to stay further away from it, when you do mess up, then you can go to land. And I was like, great, okay, cool. So there's a whole different level that I haven't even discovered yet, which is almost killing yourself. And if you're going to do that one where the glider's going to shoot down and you're going to miss it, the lines are going to go slack and then boom, it reopens. And you know that you didn't hit the wing because you pulled it off to the side as you fucked up coming over the top. Once you understand how you didn't kill yourself, then you can move to go over land. And I hadn't even experienced that yet. So it recalibrated. And it was at the right time. It was right when I was really pushing hard. And he recalibrated like my safety metric. Might have kept me out of a wheelchair, honestly.
Yeah, or worse.
Well, let me ask you this too, Andy. The best pilots that you know, have they never had an incident when flying and pushing themselves, or they've been perfect their entire time without any incident?
Well, I think I'm losing battery here because the sound just got really low.
Okay. But what I was saying is anybody that pushes himself to be a good pilot, and we know lots of pilots out there that are really, really good. They all have a video that says, hey, look at this. I pushed myself a wee bit too much. I broke a leg. I broke this. I broke that. I messed up my prop. I messed up this. I mean, everybody that is a good top pilot, they have a crash video. Am I right?
Besides Ryan Glauca. Yeah, I think you're right. Besides Ryan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're 100% right, and that he's had to have had close instances, you know. But yeah, I think yeah, absolutely. The only way we really get hurt, man, in our sport is we make the mistake. Like I've never seen anybody flying and like just gotten like sucked up by a dust devil, and it, you know,
Right.
you're like, well, there's nothing you could have done there, you know. Wait, Ron, Ron is actually probably the one. He's probably the one dude that has gotten fucked on by something he couldn't control, right?
Yep.
Ron, you took a deflation that was so big, your prop chopped your lines, right?
What are you talking about?
I thought, oh fuck. I'm sorry, I'm cussing so much. I'm thinking of the wrong guy. No, Ron, no, you've never gotten injured. Sorry, I'm thinking of Mixer.
Yeah,
Mixer,
yeah.
he took a deflation. I heard the deflation was so big that the wing, like, I heard this from Jeff Goen. The thing just
Yeah.
disintegrated right behind him, right? And then it was so far back that the paramotor chopped the lines, and then he was screwed, right?
Yeah.
And that's something you can't.
To me, it's the common denominator seems to be low, right?
Yes. Yes.
You can do all of that shit. You can do what you did, a couple of 100 feet
Way up there.
higher, and we got plenty of time to recover. But
Yeah.
you know, to me, the common denominator, it's not the new students that are getting injured, it's the more experienced pilots
Yeah.
who are doing shit down lower, right?
Complacency.
I think so. And, you know, we had talked about, you know, at some of the fly-ins at EFD, they define what low acro is. You know, you climb out to a certain
Yep.
certain height, and then you don't turn more than 45 degrees, right? So
What's their certain height?
yeah, at EFD, it was 200 feet because that's what the reserves are rated for.
Okay.
But yeah, and I talked to Landon March, who's the guy who runs the show, just the other day to clarify that. But yeah, and you know, we see a lot of accidents at fly-ins, right? And it's
Lots. Yeah.
and it's all, you know, low acro, look at me, but it's rarely the new guys, it's the older guys. And I think you're right, it's complacency.
Or they haven't taken a collapse where something hasn't happened to them for such a long time, or their entire flying career, they just go a little bit more and more and more
Yeah,
to the point
But
that
it's
happens.
it's leaving yourself the largest margin of error.
yeah.
And if you're pulling hard down low, you've got no margin of error to recover.
That's true.
So I think it's more maybe altitude than anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Ron was talking to me too. He goes, well, if you were up at 100 feet, well, no, you start off, if you were up at 200 feet and that happened, what would have happened? I would eventually open it up, would have got out of it, and would have had to change my underwear.
Yeah.
But I would have been fine. He goes, well, what if you're up at 100 feet? I was thinking, I don't think that I could have recovered at 100 feet. So he said right there, how about we just don't go anything lower than 200 feet if we're going to bank more than 45 degrees. And that's when we started talking, like, okay, there we have a sort of a definition of what is low and what is acro. Low is under 200 feet. Acro is banking more than 45.
Yeah. And it's not so much the bank either, it's the roll. But
Mhm.
yeah, to me, it's the experienced pilots that are getting hurt, and it's not what they're doing, it's where they're doing it. They're just doing it down low without any time to recover.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's the wings are different, man. Like no one would ever think of learning a helicopter low, you know, like, but free flight it's a high sport. You know, people are flying around at 1,000 meters minimum in free flight. So paramotor, it's just, and you know, you guys know about this one. Doesn't it feel safer when we're lower?
Yeah, it does.
No.
Right? Like when you're banging wing overs at 100 feet, you feel safer than when you're banging them at like 400 feet, right?
No.
Well,
No.
I mean, maybe not 100 feet or 400 feet, but I remember the higher an altitude I went, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, it felt a little scarier, you know, because my brain didn't have the reference, you know, and hadn't done it enough.
And then, yeah,
funny in an airplane, but it is a completely different feeling when you're out in the open.
yeah, and then like you basically have to get. I think like for me, when I feel what I consider a safe altitude is when when I can no longer tell the effect of the ground. You know, like when you can't really tell if you're at 2,000 feet or 3,000 feet, right? You're just up high.
Yeah.
So once I get up to that, like, hey man, you're just high, then I feel safe. But so there's like a barrier. It's like at like 100 feet, I feel good. At 500 feet, I don't feel as good. At 2,000 feet, then I feel like, hey, all the time in the world, bud. You know. So, because 1,000, you can do a lot of shit in 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet is 20 seconds to throw your reserve.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's two things. I mean, there's the feeling of, okay, it feels safer, and then there's what actually is safer. And
Right.
first time I went to a mile high, I was like, oh man, it's freaking, this is a big sky, and
Yeah.
everything's really tiny.
You're like,
now.
it's eerie up here, man. It's like being out in the middle of
Eerie.
the ocean.
That's the word. Yeah. Eerie.
Yeah, it's like you might as well be 7 miles offshore, just
Yeah.
sitting in the water.
What if my motor quits?
Yeah.
I'll be up here forever.
Mhm.
Yep.
So I guess what is the main takeaway of this podcast, the accident or whatever? I think we all know the answer. Altitude is your friend. Do anything over 200 feet. Make sure you got a reserve. Higher the better, right? The lower, I mean, 200 feet is probably your lower deck. I mean, you're actually the lowest altitude you want to be to do anything more than 45 degrees.
Yeah. And yeah, maybe also considering what you're demonstrating in front of students.
Mhm.
And we've all been guilty of that. I've also slammed into things in front of students that have been highly embarrassed about
Right.
it. But yeah, just to provide a good role model. Hey, look, this is how we just climb up and go out easy. I don't know.
Dude, so if paramotoring was a sport that was regulated by law to where you had to fly alone, the injury rate would drop 90%. Right? Like nobody's allowed to watch you fly. You have to go out into a field. Nobody can see you do it. Nobody's watching, no video cameras. Accident rate would drop 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably so. I mean,
No one was really out there. I mean, and this is just one of the things that I was practicing is foot drags, bring it up, come up and spiral, get some altitude. I mean, I got tons and tons of videos of me doing the same thing over and over and over again. It was just this one time when I came back to go, oh, look at that pretty sunrise, and banked the wrong way, spun out, stalled. It just happened.
I don't think all the times I've seen you fly, Sean, in person, I don't think I've ever seen you. I've seen you come out and bank pretty hard, but I don't recall ever seeing you come right out of the bank and then bank again.
I just don't do that. It's always to one side and spiral up.
Right.
Yeah. That one time I do something I normally don't do, right?
We live and learn.
Yes, we do. And once again, I hope that these the videos, podcast, us talking, Andrew Fuller, Ron Tron, and just everyone out there that's been talking and videos being popped up and learning that, you know, maybe that will save just one person from going, let's yank and bank. No, let's not do that.
yeah.
Yeah, get married so you're not trying to impress any stray girls, you know?
You
That'll
still
solve all
try to
your
do that.
problems, man.
That'll solve anything.
Of anything.
Get married. If you really want to get married, then have a kid, then you'll really be sick, you know?
Yeah, very safe. Yeah. There's not too many women that are out in the field anyways that you know you're showing off for, you know, or trying to do anything for. Maybe big fly-ins.
Yeah.
That's possible. But
So like, so my girl was flying. I never wanted to get married, never wanted to have kids. Now we're trying to have kids, and you know, got married last year. Something happened with me, man. Like right when we got married, I was like, I don't want you to fly anymore, babe. You know, like
Real-
you're the future. Yeah, you're the future mother of my kids, and this is the only thing you do that's going to get yourself hurt besides driving to work. Let's wait till the kids are grown up.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of like it's like I got I'm doing that's my thing. That's what I do. But it's like, man, I don't really know if I went. I got this weird like protective thing that came. It didn't exist up until that.
Well, how
Like,
did she
before that-
feel? Did she
Yeah, like,
did she agree to that?
What's that?
Did she agree that
Yeah.
she was really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It didn't. It wasn't
Really?
like it wasn't like a direct conversation where I walked in one day. I was just kind of like, yeah, I stopped kind of like I kind of stepped away from it, and she kind of
Yeah.
got it, and I was talking with her about it. Like, man, I don't want you to get hurt. Like I used to tell her, when we're trying to go somewhere, and I'm like, hurry up, right? And I'm in the car, and I'm waiting for her to get in the car, and I'm like, babe, if this was a zombie apocalypse, I'd just leave you. I just leave you here, man. And like, that was the way I described. Like, she'd go to get in the car, and I'd start like driving forward. I'm like, get in, they're coming. Like we got to prepare, but I'll leave you. And then when we got married, I was just like, dude, I don't know what it was. I was just like, dude, I'd die for her to have 5 more seconds of getting away. And it was like a weird thing. I can't explain it. I never had that like protection. I've always been protective of like the girl, but it's never been like,
Wait till
I'm
you
gonna.
get,
Yeah, wait till you have
wait,
kids,
wait
dude.
till you got kids, Andy.
Dude, I know, right? I know. When I have kids, I'm gonna be like, bro, Andy, should you be doing that stuff? It's good. Like not normal flying, but like the acrobatics and stuff, because you guys can all attest to this. Once you get to a certain skill level, you kind of know that if you don't step outside of your deal, you're good, right? But then we also all know we're gonna step outside of our shit. We're
Don't step out low.
yeah. So I kind of compartmentalized everything. If I do like any sort of acrobatics, it's over water, 2 reserves with the boat, right? I don't do the acrobatics like on the paramotor. And then the paramotor, I fly completely different. I probably don't fly over 200 feet.
Real quick, I'm really sorry I didn't see this Will until just now. Will has to go. Will, thank you so much for everything you do. He's our treasurer for Run to the Sky nonprofit. He helps us with the spinning wheel, winning things. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
buddy. I appreciate it.
Will.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you, Will.
Yeah. I want to see you fly for Gage, right?
Yeah.
All right, man. That's March 21st through the 24th in Bowling Green, Florida. It's going to be an awesome flying. You won't want to miss it. So if you're there, look me up. Love to see you guys.
Were you working the tent? Were you working the tent last year?
No, I hung around the tent a lot, but no, I
I
wasn't.
I feel like we ran into each other at the tent.
We did. We were talking politics.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Must have gotten intense.
This guy,
We
if
were-
you're
yeah,
able
we were-
to
we
come
were
over and
talking-
hang out with Ryan, oh my gosh, it's just full of dad jokes. It's hilarious.
Yeah, we were talking about hoflation is what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
There's lots of
All right, guys.
that talk about the whole
Yeah,
thing.
Ron, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Andy, appreciate that. And Kevin, Linda, and Jim. And of course, our host with the most, Sean. Really appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Will. We appreciate you too, buddy.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Night.
Right.
Night.
I need to leave as well.
Okay, well, we are at 9:30, and we definitely
Go
appreciate.
till midnight usually.
Usually we go to midnight, but it's I still haven't eaten dinner yet, and dinner does sound pretty good right
It sure
now.
does.
I don't even know where Mac is. I think he took off. He's probably
he was over this one. He's
Huh?
flying.
Flying, yeah.
Is
he
he
oh,
flying
he's
in
flying
the
the simulator.
Excellent.
Oh, we can go say hi to him in the
Yeah,
simulator.
go check him out.
Yeah. So I think that we'll go ahead and call it a night tonight. Definitely appreciate you. We're gonna say goodbye to Kramer. Bye, Kramer.
Bye, Kramer. Love you.
Tommy, and we got Shane. All right. Oh, wait. Suckless. I love that. And we'll run over here and say goodbye to everybody. I tell you, this has been a really great day. This has been really a great experience. If you guys ever get the chance to come over here to Lone Star, you really should. It's really awesome. Oh, looks like somebody got the viewer working.
Yeah. Good. We're flying at that big old drone crap. This is so amazing. Electric VTOL.
Looks like you got some people in the water.
Thanks
over
for coming on, Andrew. You have a great evening.
Absolutely. Hey, it was who was the guy that won those breaks?
Oh,
Yeah, on the brakes.
It was hold on, I know the name here.
Bill H.
Bill
Bill
H.
Bill H.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill
yeah,
H.
Bill H.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody knows Bill H. And I think that Kramer, did you already text Bill H to let him know that he won and how to get up with Andrew?
Okay, you got to up with Andrew?
Right? Because didn't Bill H win the toggles
Yes.
with Andrew Fuller?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, I thought he won who won the sticker?
Who? I don't know.
I thought Bill H won the sticker.
No, that was
No, your Denkus won the sticker.
Thank you.
No, Bill H, I think was the last one. He was the last one to win. He won the toggles.
Don't say it out loud though. It is live. Just let Bill H know that and hey Andy, real quick, what's how do we get up with you?
813-391-0237.
There
Look me
you
up
go.
on Facebook, yeah.
So Andrew Fuller, SIV instructor. He's the one that designs a bunch of paramotors too, the SkyTap Angel. You got the Spartan, and what's the new one that you got?
The Raptor.
Raptor. That's the 140 hoop.
Yep.
So does it come with the guns too like that? Because that looks pretty cool, man.
That's special, but I can make a mount for any weapon you want.
Can we
As long as you're American.
can we say that again?
Yeah.
This is that awesome.
Cool.
And
He
just
said that-
just so you know, guys, that those are all toys. He's just having fun.
Yeah. He said the ducks are optional.
The ducks are optional.
Yeah, this is all for airsoft. Has nothing to do with government.
Yeah,
Yeah. Brandon's number
really
again.
cool though.
So, but yeah, I can make, whatever you guys wanted to mount, whatever, I've had people come over. I got a whole sewing room. That I pretty much got every kind of fabric. Every kind of buckle. As you can see, and I've been doing a crap ton of sewing today. Every buckle, every Velcro, every kind of webbing. All the bar tack machines, all the heavy duty industrial sewing machines, all that stuff. So, the best thing to do is you can stop by with whatever and I can pretty much make her up. So.
Now your harnesses, right? So you can make the quick release harness, right? Out of
I can put a quick release on anything now.
on anything.
On anything, yeah. Like when I was doing them back in the, I started doing the quick releases about 4 years ago, and I was different kind of seamstress, different kind of rigger back then. Now I can pretty much sew up anything, and I have the industrial sewing machines to do it too. So I started with one machine. Now I got 6.
Now I'm sure that a lot of people are like, wait a minute, quick release. What is a quick release? So maybe we can talk about quick release and what is the benefits of a quick release on a paramotor. Well,
It helps you get out of the harness quicker. Helps you get into the harness quicker. So that's all it is to get in, and then to get out, it's this. So even if it weren't for the water safety, it's still significantly more convenient. But the number one way we die is we drown, and then if you hit water on this thing, you're out like that. So
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
No, I'm definitely a proponent of the quick release. How do we get up with you for getting a quick release?
oh man, just look me up on Facebook, go to any one of my websites, give me a call, get a hold of Sean, whatever. Yeah. Or any kind of rigging, man. People call me all the times for like, hey man, can I get a 6-inch strap? Like I just made some adjustment buckles for a guy who was doing tandems, and he had some guys that were like too big to fit in the harnesses. and he just asked me for extensions, I can make, just talk to me on the phone for 20 minutes. I can pretty much make up whatever you want. So.
And also too, just so you guys know, just in case you don't know, back when we started this paramotor podcast 5 seasons ago, Andrew was our very first person that agreed to be on the podcast.
God, that's right.
Yeah, I never would have thought 5 seasons in we'd be doing a podcast because I stalled my wing and dropped out of the sky. Never would have thought about it. Never would have thought.
I'll say, I'll end it on this one.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Well, I wouldn't say nobody else. Very few people would have had a podcast after they had a major accident. So, and just addressed it. And I think that's like, if this was any other sport, any other sport, basketball, soccer, whatever, football, whatever it was, racing, whatever it was. As soon as you have an accident, you have a press conference the next day, right? As soon as you get out of the hospital, you have a press conference. You have to talk about it. You have to talk about rule changes, all this other, you know what I mean? And this is like the only one where people try and sweep it under the rug. And so I think what she did was like extremely stand up. I wish everybody would do that kind of stuff, and I get why they don't, because they get hammered, right? Or sometimes they try and they get hammered, but you didn't, bro. You posted it, you get the normal hammering, you took it, and now you're like, yeah, guess what? A couple days later, we're gonna do a full blown podcast about it. I don't think that's ever happened before. So
interesting. And also too, we were trying to figure out what is the definition of low and acro, so maybe more people will go, well, if I'm underneath 200 feet and I bank more than 45, that could be considered acro. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I need to climb higher, so hopefully that might be a standard too. I'd love to have the USPPA or one of our regulators, our self-regulators, try to actually come up with the definition. What is low and what is acro? And that way, 100% we understand what it is.
Who is it that we had on the podcast last week before last? It was maybe 3 weeks ago. It was part of the USPPA.
Well, we had the president on a while
Jeremy?
back, but I don't remember who we had, a couple weeks ago that was on it? I don't
Jeremy
remember.
Howe?
Jeremy.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, we know people that are over at the USPPA. We'll get up with them. I even asked Noah if he would want to come on here for tonight and even talk about stuff like this, but obviously he's incredibly busy. And I also asked a bunch of other people to come on here, very incredibly busy people. So thank you, Andrew, for jumping on and working while you're on here too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I want to get those toggles, by the way, how would I get those toggles from you? How much do they cost?
I'm not quite sure how much they cost yet, man. I'm just making a couple of the guys that asked me to make them for them. So like, people order them like 5, 10 at a time. So I think you're going to be around $75, $80.
A piece
for a set. Yeah. For a whole set with magnets and everything. Yeah, they're more expensive than you would think, dude. These magnets, freaking $2 a piece. And there's 4. Yeah, there's 4 for a set, but like, yeah, I'm still kind of figuring out how long it takes me to make them, because it's something you look at and you're like, yeah, I could probably make that in like 30 minutes, and you're like, well, it's kind of a long time when you're making 10 of them, right? And but yeah, probably around $75-$80.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just kind of something I've been working on for like 2 months. Like 3 different people have reached out to me about prototyping new ones. And yeah, so I ended up making like 5 different kinds. And now I'm just kind of trying to figure out what people like and what they want changed. And I can do any of that stuff because it's, it's all done in house. So.
And we can make it any color that we want to match our wing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So.
Man, this has been a really great podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you very much for listening to us even after the fact on the audio podcast later on. Share the podcast, share the videos. The more people that see it, the more people that comment on it. I think the more people are going to go, hey, maybe I shouldn't do anything low, even if it's just banking hard to the right.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude, the number one thing that people take away from our SIVs is like they go, man, I was reckless. Like they come in, they're coming in, they you know, they're trying to get to the next level, and what they usually realize is that they're like, man, I was out of line before this, right? And they kind of step more in more into line. So
Like they think they're here, but they're really down here acting like they are here.
yeah, and it's something you can't lie about. You know, like it gets exposed, and you don't want to lie about it, and people don't. It's really cool. Like sometimes people will call and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm doing this, doing that," and then when they get out there, they're a different. They've already lowered themselves a couple belts, just because it's game time, you know. And that probably does like that. I've heard the cool thing about doing SIVs is like when something happens, people call you up and they'll be like, "You saved me," right? Or something happens like in your case when it was like I could have gone several different ways and it went one way and you walked away pretty, you know, standing up pretty high. Whereas it could have been a lot worse. Like worst case scenario, man, you could have hit that wing or you know. So it's like that right. Like I don't know when I'll retire from doing SIVs. So long as people start, if people keep calling me and telling me it was beneficial to them, it'll be a long, long time before I stop doing that stuff. So
Exactly.
but well, cool, man. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Too bad it was underneath this particular reason. We even had an SIV course that we were trying to get up and hang out with you this next month or the following month. I may not go. So we'll definitely need to come up with another date that we can get out there, do another SIV. I definitely 100% highly suggest if you haven't done one, get up with Andrew, talk with him. It's very, very important, I think.
Yep. I'll get with you, Sean. Do you want to do open topic next week? Because then the following Monday we have Chris Crystal. I have to get up with him just to remind him. He's going to talk about the corn buzzards flying.
Okay.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
to refresh.
We'll just still keep next week open topic. That way,
Okay.
you know, we'll see what's what.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
Yeah.
All right. You guys, thank you again. Andrew, thank you very much.
Everybody.
Kevin, thank you for hanging out with us. Linda, thank you so much.
Much
Will,
love.
thank you, Will Fly and Jim from Canada A. You guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all. If there's nothing else, we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Where we all will be very safe when we run into the sky.
All right. Love you, Linda. See you later.
Peace out.
Oh, bye. Thank you.
Love you.
I didn't get his number for Billy.
Oh,
Oh, you got it? Okay.
yeah. Andrew Fuller. All you have to do is look up Andrew Fuller, Skylab SIV. He has a bunch of paramotors, right? So you can go check out his SkyTap
But Bill
paramotors.
wants to get a hold of Andrew Fuller.
Andrew Fuller, one more time, really quick. What is your?
Not too fast.
Not too fast. We're actually going to put it in the phone and text him.
813.
Uno, tres. See,
Yep, 391.
that's not, you said ocho uno tres. That's
Yeah,
813.
okay, tres. Nueve.
Is it really ocho uno?
Uno.
What?
No, say it in English.
Yeah, say it in English.
813-391-0237.
He did say it right.
What is it? 813.
391-0-3-2-7.
Yeah.
No. 0237.
237.
0237. That's the part that everybody mixes up. 0237.
Got it. Got it now.
All right.
0237.
So say the whole thing again real quick. Say the whole thing.
813.
Come on in English.
Oh, 813-391-0237.
That's it.
All right, we got it.
Bill has it now.
All
I already
right.
sent it to him.
Good deal.
All right, cool.
All right.
All
Go
right.
eat something, you guys.
Oh, that's right. Gotta go eat. We'll catch y'all later. Have a
Sweet.
good one. Thank you again, everybody. Appreciate you. Peace
All right,
out.
be safe.
Peace.
Thanks again, Andrew.
Yeah.
Thank you.